Cue the final Jeopardy theme.
Guys. Of course, Chris has got to talk like right as soon as I switch it over. Alrighty, guys. Welcome to another episode of NOVAtazz's automotive podcast with Chris cracking up in the background like a little kid. This is episode 9, season 3, and up here on stage with me... Stage? Is it a stage? Maybe it's a stage. Up here on screen with me, I have Kat from Katarina's Garage. I said that right this time, right? Along with her photobombed cat.
Well, that's what he does.
We have Rockabilly Customs, Chris. And we have Firebird Nation's Chris down below me. So, as always, no plan. I have no idea what the hell we're doing. In fact, I'm 5 minutes late. Thank you for not being able to find my headphones and have to run all over my house trying to find them. And, yeah. So, it's only a good live stream if it starts out like a shit show.
So you're saying the excuse you used to use at school, sorry teacher, the dog ate my homework, won't apply here?
No, the dog didn't eat my homework. I lost my headphones. So,
yeah, the cat took them, right?
Well, they were right next to the new cat tree we got. And it has borne many spook fruits lately.
Oh, are you really going to come in here now?
It says, yeah, you're filming. We need all of the attentions.
Yeah, apparently. Excuse me, that's my food. Thank you very much.
No food on camera. You might make the guests hungry. Then they'll have to leave to go get food, and they won't be in the chat.
Well, I won't try to eat it. I tried to eat beforehand.
Number one rule: never eat on camera, unless you're one of those weird people on on YouTube that apparently get paid to eat on camera. Never understood that one. I can't stand watching somebody eat in person, let alone on camera.
I mean, hey, if somebody offered to pay me to eat on camera, I'd do it.
I know, I just don't. It actually kind of. I had a big issue with when I first started my job I'm at now, and we were doing training. One of my fellow people that started with me, her brother, does that, and I got so pissed off because it's like people like me and you, where we spend a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of effort making content, and then you have somebody that literally has no money into something, no whatever, and they blow up like crazy. It's like, I'm sitting here busting my ass, and I can't blow up. You sit down here, you've had a YouTube channel for 2 months, have 3 times the amount of subscribers I do already, and literally are getting like views out the wazoo every day by chewing on camera. That just like doesn't make any sense.
No,
I think that would be wholly conductive to reading the small print in the contract on just exactly what items you may be eating. I'd be afraid they'd sneak something in there like they used to do on Fear Factor.
I think they control what they eat since it's their channel. But yeah, I seem to have also made another mistake.
Uh-oh.
I seem to be having a supplement for my beverage.
Uh-oh.
So it either means I'm having just soda, or I'm going to have to disappear in a couple minutes and go find a cup.
Oh, you did that last week too, and it was Jess to the rescue.
Well, apparently, unfortunately, Jess is not here to be rescuing me. She is stuck at work again. She's doing it overnight. She went into 10 this morning. She'll get out at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So much fun. So I have actually no topic for today. Like, normally I have something that I want to talk about. I mean, except for, obviously, any new YouTube channels that we've come across or helped out with. I know I see some new people here in the chat, which I don't have my other chat open.
Yeah, we're whoop kicking. You got 12 in there already.
Yeah, I just don't have my other chat open so I can monitor with the chat, which is... in my defense, I have a 3-year-old, and I'm by myself tonight, so... kids make you late every time.
I mean, yeah. Hey, I won't have to worry about that unless if I adopt, because I can't have kids. So.
Yeah, I am going to turn up your mic just a little bit.
Okay.
Just because.
Sorry about that, guys. I had to go give the food to my wife and daughter.
Okay. Like I said, we are all human here.
Yup.
There we go. Let's bring this down here. The other thing I don't have open is I don't have open CloudBot.
Huh.
I'm a little
Once again,
behind.
I'm probably the only one that can get away with that situation because there's a case of water on the floor over there in front of the passenger seat all the time.
All right. Now that I have my big chat window open, because I have a little one over here, but that one's hard for me to read without having to like scrunch over there.
Yeah, I just have to lean over to actually type on it. But other than that,
I need to shrink the screen.
Evening, Miss Farmy.
The wife is in the building.
Oh, we got 14 people watching.
That's good. I got 12. It's on my end as far as it says. But you guys.
I dropped to 12.
But it doesn't really matter as long as everybody that's in here is having fun. We'll get going, guys. Don't worry.
All
We're
right.
situated.
Yeah, definitely.
I just need to. All right, so Cats first. We got Melissa. Now I do believe she's from Coastal Auto Reaction. In fact, actually, she says that in her in her chat. We got Pilot as always. Crizol. I can't pronounce that name. Krizoic. 103. We have Chris, Firebird Nation, Hank the main man. He's been quite regular recently too. Mecha Nuts. I just saw him on my Instagram the other day. I think I did. Pilot. Roy. Good evening, Roy. Also, by the way, if you guys see any guy's channel that either A has an interesting thumbnail or whatever, check them out. And because a lot of us that are in the chat also have YouTube channels of our own, or at least YouTube channels that we support. Yep, Nick's Garage. He's not in here though. Yeah, like I said, yeah, I sworn I saw his name from Instagram. I do catch a lot of stuff. I don't always comment on everything. It's just me. Sorry, nothing against you guys. I do watch a lot of content. Don't always comment. It's just most of the time I'm on my Xbox, and leaving comments is a pain in the ass. They even make it hard to like a video. Like if you want to like a video on Xbox, you have to go into like a whole separate menu. You should just be able to like literally hit up and just hit like. They have the subscribe button sometimes and the channel button, but they don't. You get the like button. You have to go to like an added menu, which doesn't make any sense. The like button should be like right up there in like shouldn't be hard to get to.
yeah, you think, but
Yeah, at least in my opinion, it should be right there. It should give you an option to be able to leave a message, like a comment. But it doesn't even give you an option to leave a comment either, even though you could use the Xbox keypad, or if you had a wireless keyboard, you should be able to, but it doesn't. Hey, we're all stuck inside and bored. It's freaking cold and wet up here. I still got 3 inches of snow from the other day. What's left of it. And outside is wet. Trust me, my feet are telling me right now because I ran out to my car barefoot. It was cold.
When did you guys get snow the other day?
Well, actually, we got snow Friday. Friday evening into Saturday, we got snow. We got snow, early last week too, like Monday or Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say I was up that way near you guys. I had to load up in Scranton. Yeah. Thursday, nice day Thursday.
Yeah.
Come back down through Albany.
Yeah, actually, it snowed here on Friday, but then it started to get really warm. Like it's supposed to be really nice for like over a week and a half. So top's gonna be down on my convertible, and I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, I don't have a convertible. This thing doesn't even have T-tops. Now, granted, the key is they have sunroofs, so they open. It's kind of like a convertible, but
it's not the same.
No, that car will eventually get its top cut off, and we'll get T-tops put on it, but not anytime soon.
You see, I want to do that on my 81 Notch Mustang, but to be honest, when you do that on the Mustangs, you have to be really careful, more so than the Firebirds.
Well, the Firebirds are already designed to do that, so Like I'm not cutting out my own T-tops. The roof will come off, and a donor T-top roof will go on.
Oh yeah.
So I'm literally cutting the A posts and the C post off of it, and we'll be actually putting a whole T-top, actual Firebird T-top roof on it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, which is actually
go ahead.
A little easier to do with those.
Yeah, it's not any
easy.
different than any other body work. But I want to thank Suffolk Cletus. He donated $2. He says he won't be on tonight, and for us to enjoy our show. Thank you very much. Was not enough to actually kick the stream boss, if you guys can see. He did not kill it. It's about 2/3 of the way dead, but it's not dead. Oh well, now he did it.
Now that would be interesting.
T-top the Kia Soul. Well, considering neither of them are mine, I don't think Jess would let me do that, and I don't think that with the way that the Kias are made, I don't think you could T-top those.
If you did, you'd have to have a big blow-up hamster in the passenger seat beside you.
Well, yeah,
his head would stick out the roof with it open.
Yeah. Well, the thing is they're a unibody car a lot more than the Firebirds were, and I think that there's way too much structural rigidity in between the A post and the B post, especially since it's a 4-door car. I think that it would really compromise the structure of the Kia if I did it that way.
I just put a roll cage in it, it'd be fine.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Sounds sensible.
Oh.
Sounds sensible for a family car.
Can I help you? Really?
Yeah.
You're
Pet
a
me.
shithead. You're a shithead.
See, mine won't come up here. They just lay on top of my feet underneath the desk. Did I see Narcs is in here? Oh, yes, he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to apologize. I still have not gotten to his channel because I know once I get to it, I've seen some of his content or seen snippets of it. I'm going to be hooked, and I'm going to end up there for a while. And I'm going to get and I'm going to end up getting stuck on their channel for a while.
Man, I've been watching. I can't remember his name, but Bad Seed Originals. He has some good content over on his channel.
I see Weirdbeard put up another video too. I haven't gotten a chance to watch that one either. Because I watch so much different content that, like, car content is a part of what I watch. So, like, with so many car content channels that I follow now, you're shoving them even into a smaller blocks of time to watch them, because I watch modeling, car model, like scale model videos. I watch gaming videos. I have a channel that I'm watching that's doing a playthrough for 7 Days to Die, which is a game that me and my girlfriend and Elliot play together. And a bunch of other stuff that I have a lot of different things that I watch. So, and I still have to get stuff done. I still have a full-time job and all of that. So there's balancing time to watch videos and actually being like, I know that some people will just let videos play and watch them that way. I have ADHD. If I did that, I'd never get anything done, because I'd constantly be stopping what I'm doing to go watch that, or I wouldn't be paying attention at all to what I was watching, and I would be doing a disservice to whatever video I was watching because I'm not paying attention to it. So, I watch a lot of YouTube, but there's still not enough time in a day to watch all of the stuff that I have subscribed to.
Oh, for sure. Makes sense. And actually, Mechanuts, the engine in my 86, it's totally fine. What happened was I got gas in the oil, which I'm assuming that the fuel pressure regulator decided that it did not want to work properly and put way too much fuel in the cylinders, which then just got through to the oil pan. And then that's what started to make it knock. And once it changed the oil, it's totally fine.
What?
And pressure is
there,
great.
there actually could be. You said, is that the same one that had the compression issue?
No, well, I haven't had a compression issue. I was just testing the compression.
But it had the one that was lower than the rest. So you had, most of them were around 160, 140, and they had that one that was down around 120.
It wasn't that actually. It was just the angle of that. It was about 130 on
Okay.
that. So
All right. Yeah, that's a little closer.
yeah, it definitely is. It's I'm quite happy, especially since that motor sat for 10 years before I worked on it and got it up and going.
The
I've
other
never
thing
had
is if you had gas that wiped out the, obviously that would wipe out the oil on the wall of the cylinder wall, which also could cause the ring to not have sealed completely either.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Like and that's what I want to check next. Probably tomorrow, I'm gonna check the compression on my convertible, which is my 86, and go from there. Hopefully, it should be okay because I mean it runs just fine. The CFI
you can always go pick up one of those cheap little tiny micro cameras that you plug into your cell phone, and little borescope cameras.
Oh yeah, one of those.
Yeah, and then just do a video on borescoping down inside your engines, inside your bores.
Actually,
Wouldn't be that.
idea.
I don't think it would be that expensive of a video, especially since you'd be doing it on 2 different cars. You could do a video on each car, which would mean you'd be splitting the cost of that borescope onto 2 different vehicles, 2 different videos.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. I might have to look into that. Appreciate that. Thanks.
Your computer is a new piece of crap, huh? You know what? Honestly, when I first built this one, it doesn't have the parts in it that I had now. I had originally had a Ryzen 2600 and a Radeon 570. And I'll tell you what, this thing, I mean, granted, it was still better than most normal computers. I was so upset because the first time I fired up the editing software that I have, and it literally was acting like I was trying to play, like it literally acted like a computer that was 10, 15 years old. And I know that it's better than most people's computer at that point. And so it was so frustrating because it's like, I just dropped basically like $1,200 on that computer and it still couldn't handle the editing software that I wanted it to. That I designed, that I built. And then I did research and I'm like, oh, well, that's why. Because the threshold of what they recommend for that software was way up here, and I was only like here. Now, your average computer is still down here, but, it's just... So I ended up having to go out and go buy a new CPU and a new GPU to be able to run the software that I'm running now.
Oh yeah, and because people will wonder why I don't edit. But it's like, because if I try to edit on my computers, it's not going to be pretty.
It would probably, if you can find an old school version of Windows Movie Maker, you'd be just fine.
Oh, probably, yeah. But I mean,
you
honestly,
can find
a lot of right now doesn't require editing. It's just because I do like the kind of what I'm doing, just my phone on a tripod and I'm just moving it around and stuff.
Right, but the cool thing is, especially with just like Windows Movie Maker, you can just edit out the dead time. The time where you're moving the tripod around or whatever, you can edit that stuff out. Or say you mistake you mess up a sentence or whatever, and you want to redo that sentence. You can do that. You can just say the sentence over again and then just edit out the bad one. That's the good thing about editing. You don't have to do all the fancy stuff. But even if you just splice out the stuff that just causes dead time, because dead time makes people bored. And when people get bored, they click off your video, they go find a different video.
Oh yeah, for sure. The average view time of my videos isn't great right now, but that's not super surprising.
Yeah. Well, and that might improve with a little bit of, like I said, just editing out the dead time. Sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be looking into that, and especially with some of the videos I have planned in the summertime. There's going to be a lot of editing in those because, well, we're going to be doing some fun redneck stuff with cars.
Right. Well, and like I said, the thing is if you just want some simple cutting and splicing, maybe adding a title screen or something like that, Windows Movie Maker is really simple, really basic, isn't very taxing on your computer, and will get the job done. And it's free. If you just got to find it.
Yeah, because I don't think they have new programs anymore.
No, so it's from an older version of Windows. But you can find it. You just got to do a little bit of searching.
Oh yeah, and I've used Movie Maker in school, like back in junior high and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, so you should be able to already have. You're already familiar with it. Yeah. And like I
Yeah.
said, that's a good place to start. And then once you get to the point to where Windows Movie Maker no longer cuts what you want it to do, like you want to do more than what that program is capable of doing, well then that's when you move up to something that's more that's a little more complicated or a little bit more aggressive. And that's how I started. I started. Geez, we didn't even edit our videos at all. Like literally, we shot like 2 or 3 minutes, put it up immediately. There was no editing at all. If you look at my first videos, I guarantee you, Roy and Robert, because I've seen them comment on my videos from way back then. I have seen them. There's no editing. It's literally just you click it. It's like 2 or 3 minutes long. It's just a little tiny blip it, and then I uploaded it, and then I recorded the next one and uploaded it. There was no saving it anywhere. There was no uploading it later. You uploaded it as you filmed it. And then I learned the world of editing and got rid of all my ums and uhs and stumbling over my words, all of that stuff.
That was weird.
Yeah, well, see, and oddly enough, with like the mistakes I make, because it does kind of add to the message that I want to put out there for people, and that it's just anybody can do this. Like literally, you don't have to know anything about computers or anything like that. You can just literally. I haven't spent a ton on my channel. Like all I've really spent is like I bought a selfie stick and I had a tripod already around. Mm-hmm. I used my phone. I just bought a mic that should be here next week.
And that's how a lot of people start, and you just end up progressing. Like all of your big YouTubers, they started out. If they didn't erase their early videos, because some of them will. If they still have some of their original videos up, you'll see they didn't start much better. Either a simple GoPro or a simple, using whatever phone they had on whatever, or mom's camcorder or whatever it was. They didn't start with anything fancy, but you eventually, just like anything else, you grow out of it and you grow into more sophisticated stuff. I didn't start out with this. I started out with the Levino PC that I was talking about earlier in our group chat. It was just an i5 integrated graphics card, like I'm not sure if that's the computer you're using now or if that's the laptop you have, but it was an i5 integrated, integrated APU, and I used it until it literally could not keep up with the editing that I wanted it to do. It literally was just crashing my software and dying on me, and it's like, well, now I need to upgrade. It's just like working on a race car. Your race car is fine until it keeps getting spanked by the competition. Then you're like, well, now I need something faster so I can beat that competition. So you get something faster, then it breaks. Well, then you need to upgrade that part, and that's the snowball down the hill that you get. It's the same thing as YouTube. You start out small. You don't want to start way up here, because if you start out way up here, well, then you got that much high of a reach to get to before you break even. It's better to start out down here and work your way up as your your views and your watch time and stuff increases. And your skill level increases. You build up as you go. I've been at this since 2013, 2014. So obviously I'm not at the same. I still use cell phones. I mean, why not? It's 1080p. Sometimes, my newer ones record in 4K if I wanted to. I just don't like the file size of 4K.
Yeah, I can actually shoot in 4K on my phone. The only problem is actually getting it to upload to YouTube on 4K. It won't.
No, what you do is you record in 4K, and this is where 4K and editing works. Okay, so you record in 4K, and you got to think about it. Anytime you zoom in, digitally zoom in, you're losing resolution. Absolutely. So if you're at 4K, which is 4000p, so 4K is 4000p. 10K, 1K would be 1080p. So every time you zoom in, you're losing quality. So if you start out at 4K and you zoom in, you know, you could still be at 1080p zoomed in. You know, and even if you are running your regular footage at 4K, when you render it to put it up to YouTube, you render it at 10K, so then the whole film is at 10K. I mean, at 1080p or 720p or whatever. It's better to have a bigger file size that you can shrink down than it is to not have that bigger size, because you can't go bigger once you're small.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like,
So, you know, if you record in 480p, even if you render it at 1080p, it's still going to be 480p.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. Like, and honestly,
right.
Yeah.
So
I don't even think
that's why a lot of the professionals now render at 8K. They film at 8K, or what they call red, and then they can edit the software, and then they can render it at 1080 or 4K. Because then they don't lose quality if they need to zoom in, or if they want to slow down the footage, or that's the other thing. Don't ever record at 30 frames a second. Record in the highest frame rate you can without suffering other drawbacks with your equipment. You know, obviously, if you don't have a red 8K camera that can, you know, record at, you know, a good bazillion freaking whatevers, you know, you record at the best that you can. Oh, I love ball pythons. You record the best you can with what you got. And if you have to tone it down a little bit to upload it, well, then that's what you do. Okay. I record at 1080p, 60 frames a second, because I would love to film faster than that, but the phones won't do it. A regular camera, you can record at 120 frames a second.
Yeah.
Which is better.
My phone can actually do 50 frames a second, which I'm surprised about, actually. But it is like a camera. So
well, 50 frames a second isn't actually... I mean, you kind of want to keep it in, like, 30-frame increments because of rendering.
Oh, yeah. I never have issues with that. I just have issues with YouTube glitching and with how bad my internet is out here.
Well, and that's the other thing. That's another thing. Again, upgraded. I used to have internet that was like 10 megabytes download and like 3 upload. And I'll tell you what, that's a nightmare. Right now I have 250 download and 13 upload. But then again, it's something that we've realized that we needed and had to do. So that's what we do. Jess does video gaming, I do video gaming, we do live streaming. So that became a necessity to have that bandwidth. It's not something I started out with.
Oh, for sure. Like, my internet right now, like, I don't have a choice out here. There are higher packages, but it's still satellite, so it's still gonna be garbage because we don't have fiber optic or anything out here. So you're just screwed.
Yeah.
Right?
Ours isn't fiber optic, I don't think. But I don't know. We use Blue Ridge, which is what we have out here. I miss Comcast. Comcast was wicked fast. We had like over 250 download, and I was pushing 2024 upload. So never had an issue with them.
Yeah, I wish. Like my internet is 1.78 upload and like 10 download. It's terrible.
Chris, I miss my old camera. I had an old Sony XR 550 Handycam. It had a 500 gig internal hard drive on the camcorder. No little SSD cards, need nothing. I literally had an internal hard drive built into the camcorder, and it had night vision. It had a night mode. That camera was freaking awesome, and I have been trying to buy another one. Like, I mean, that camera is probably close to 10 years old now. They don't make them anymore, and they still go for $600 to $700 used.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me considering.
Yeah, I'd much rather deal with an internal hard drive than these stupid flash drives, because you can lose them and everything else. I like, and also you don't have to worry about like having to switch the SSDs while filming. I can literally leave that camera filming for like 8 hours as long as it's plugged in to an outlet source, because obviously the batteries aren't going to last 8 hours. but I could literally leave that filming for like 8 hours and I wouldn't fill that card up. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like with my phone, anytime I do any of my stuff, like I just have an internal 128 gigs. It doesn't have an external SD card or anything like that. So, but 128 gig is more than enough for what I do.
Yeah, I don't use my current phone. I have retired phones that I no longer use as phones, and they're strictly just cameras.
Oh yeah, like I mean, I could use my old Sony. Don't get me wrong, but the only problem with this phone is that it dies super fast because it's a Sony. That's what they do.
Yeah, mine are. I have a Samsung S5 and a Samsung S7. Those are the two that I use for filming. If I want to, I can also use this one for filming. This is an S7 Plus. I mean an S9 Plus. So I can also use this one, and then I have the little knockoff Action Cam GoPro thing. But that thing, the battery dies in like 10 minutes. So I have 4 batteries for that thing because I keep 2 of them on a charger at all times.
Oh jeez, yeah. Like, because I'm supposed to be gifted sometime in the summertime. A friend of mine wants to gift me a GoPro, actually, which would be really nice to use and have fun with. The only stipulation is I have to do rolling shots of his truck on Deerfoot during rush hour. Just like, frick, man, you really want me to like kill myself?
Get a nice set of GoPro stuff, and you can literally, you can suction the GoPro to the side of your car.
Oh yeah, that's
and
what
do
we're
the
gonna
rolling
do.
shots that way.
Yeah.
That's
what we're going to do. He just wants him on one of the sketchiest roads to drive on. And
I can't get my stuff because it's sitting back behind the stop sign. And if I move that, everything's going to fall over here in this back corner. So, we'll just leave that stuff back there. I've been ignoring
Yeah, if y'all see my next video is coming out. It's all filmed with a GoPro. So I'm switching to GoPro 4s.
Oh, nice.
The neutral drop channel? Sorry, I'm going back through the chat because I've been ignoring it because we were having a really good conversation up here on screen.
No, but yeah, kind of. So my channel, my video that's going to be dropped tomorrow at 2:00. It's the new suspension that went on the Maverick. So
Nice.
yeah, it's I changed out everything on the front end, so it'd be a lot better as soon as I get it back on the road. And the next video, the next 2 or 3 videos on that car, hopefully I'll get it back on the road and get it in line so I can go race it again.
Yeah. I'm going back through and reading some of these. Chris says he has his PC is, no, it's Mecha Nuts, says that he has an i7 10700 with 32 gigs of RAM. I wonder what GPU he's got in it.
Yeah, which
Pilot needs to repurpose a power supply in that bag phone.
Yeah, yeah, because even with the laptop that I have, this is actually my dad's laptop. My laptop's even worse. I'm not even wanting to boot that thing up.
The problem is you also have the whole battle between Intel and AMD. I'm running AMD because they are better for multi-core processing. Intel is really good for single-core processing. But when you're rendering videos and things like that, you want the multi-core processor. Whereas if you're playing video games only use 1 core at a time. So that's why Intel is normally better for video gaming, because of the fact of, and like some other programs, I think is it Blender? I think it's Blender only uses a single core at a time as well. And so if you're like a 3D animator, you want that single core speed to be really high.
Yeah, because I mentioned in the chat my PC. There we go.
Mecca says, is that an APG, an APU? Mecca, I mean, integrated GPU in with your CPU, because I mean that's basically pushing your CPU to do 2 times the work that it needs to. Only being an i7.
Yeah, because the laptop I'm using right now actually has an i3 in it. That tells you how old this freaking thing is.
Yeah, that's old. I mean, even this one here, this Alienware, is running I think it's an i7. I'll tell you in a second. And this is from 2011.
Baby crying in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dog just woke up.
Yeah,
So my wife's getting her something else different because she doesn't want chicken.
No chicken.
Nothing
Well,
a bowl of ice cream won't solve.
All right.
You know,
Hey, she's
this
2 years
one-
old.
oh nice.
Even
I was gonna
better.
say,
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
running an i7 2760QM CPU at 2.4 gigahertz.
Holy shit, there, Mecca.
That's in the Alienware. That's 11 years old.
Look in the chat what Mecca just said for his gigahertz.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is
I
yeah,
don't understand anything of this.
that's an Intel for you. I mean, but you know, the thing is an i7 I think is only a 6 core. I'm pretty sure an i7 is only a 6 core.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
And okay, so I'm running a Ryzen 9 3900X. Okay? That's a 12 core processor hyper-threaded. So it's basically running like a 24 core. Okay? So it runs like a 24 core and I'm running at hold on a second. I'm running at 4.15 gigahertz with 12 cores.
Yeah, that's. Oh, his is a 16 core. Wow.
It's an 8
Yeah,
core.
wait.
It's an 8 core hyper threaded. i7's not a 16 core.
Okay, yeah. See,
I'm pretty
I don't
sure.
know.
Let me go double check that, but I'm pretty sure that is an 8 core hyper threaded.
well, something that might make you cry because like this is my dad's laptop with the i3, right?
Right.
My laptop has an AMD E1 in it. One of the worst processors ever. Runs at like 1.6 gigahertz. It's terrible. I hate that thing.
He agreed with you, Sean.
What? 8
8 core dual thread.
Yeah. Where mine's a 12 core dual thread. But the thing is the problem is yes, it's an 8 core dual thread, but it also has to dedicate some of that freaking power to running your graphics. So it's not only doing the job of a CPU, it's doing the job of a CPU and a GPU in one. So it's got to devote that, it's got to devote that power that instead of just being able to devote that power to doing computer processing, it's also got to do your rendering and your graphics. Like this computer, I can completely shut it down and have it reboot and back to the login screen in less than 10 seconds. It does not care.
The last time I clocked it of this laptop takes 3 minutes and my PC takes 2 minutes. So yeah, that's what I contend with. But it's okay. I don't really use these for much. Like every once in a while, I'll boot up my computer and play World of Tanks on it. That's about the extent of what I use the computer for. So it's not great for that, but it works.
Chris says there's the CPU that comes into play during videos. Yes and no. If you are rendering any 3D or especially if you are rendering editing your videos, your GPU is the one that does any of the color correction. It's the one that does any of that processing power comes from the GPU, not your CPU. And you can look at that if you look at the performance. If you hit like Control Alt Delete and look at your performance metrics, you can see what parts of the computer is being utilized, whether it's your RAM, your GPU, or your CPU, and you can see how much of it is being utilized. It will max out the GPU and then throw whatever is left on the CPU. But yeah, it's not bad. Like Mech's computer isn't bad by no means, but when you start running into things like I use Blackmagic's what the hell is it? It's Fusion whatever. DaVinci Resolve. And yeah, you wouldn't be able to run DaVinci Resolve on that computer. You can't run DaVinci Resolve at all on an integrated GPU. Because it literally needs it depends too heavily on the GPU for that processor to have been able to keep up. That's why I had to upgrade this one. But it is a free program. It's free. But like I said, it demands a lot from your device. Yeah, well, I mean, like, yeah, doing what you're doing right now, regular browsing, yeah, CPU. You start up a video game, or you start up your editing software, and you go to render, or because like it pre-renders, like when you're putting your stuff together and you're wanting it to play through it as you're editing it, it's using your GPU to do that. But yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. If you're just surfing the web, no, that's mostly all CPU. But yeah, what did I see something the other day? It said one GPU is about worth of 30 CPUs in processing power. So
that's pretty accurate actually from what I've heard.
Yeah. So like you know, your GPU is 30 times more powerful than your CPU. Just let that sit there. That's why it's important to have a GPU when you're doing things like video editing and not just relying on an APU. APU is great for your desktop. If you're doing schoolwork or if you're doing, you know, basic surfing, you don't need a GPU if you are using your computer to do average, ordinary, at-home tasks. Browsing the internet, watching YouTube videos, no, you don't need a GPU for that. Are you getting pincushioned?
Yeah, his claws need to be cut, and he's just such a pain in the ass to keep him to stay still with these talons. So, anyway, hi.
But the other thing that's involved in that is also your storage, because you know, it doesn't matter how fast your GPU or your CPU is, if it can't get that information from the storage drive to work with. It's another reason why I'm running NVMe, because that way I don't really have to worry about how fast it has to access that stuff. Cadillac can send emails. Your Cadillac sends its own stress reports.
You see, and that's just so foreign to me, because I'm so used to the cars that either A, don't have a computer, or B, the computer is so bad that it can barely run the car.
Yeah. Well, that's 90s computers for you. It's 80s and 90s computers for you.
Yeah, oh, exactly. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the unit on that Mustang. God, I really want to get rid of that. But the thing is, it's either get a carburetor or spend the money and a Holy Sniper for it.
Okay, yeah, he says he's got a separate GPU with 8 gigs of DDR shoot, they don't call it DDR, they call it it's got a different different type of RAM.
His mistress upsets him all the time and sends him emails. My windshield's wet. Put me back in the garage. It's raining. I don't want to drive today.
My pansy ass don't want to go outside. It's wet and cold. Oh, I used to love driving my if you go on my Instagram, I might have to share them again. I used to love driving my Nova in the snow. In fact, I used to do better in the snow than some trucks did.
Oh, that actually, it's kind of funny between my two cars because I daily my Mustangs. Right, doesn't matter how cold or how warm it is. I'm driving those two cars. The thing is, the convertible is a ton better in the snow, but it makes sense because the convertible top motor is right over top of the rear wheels. It's right freaking there. And it's an extra 300 pounds. But my notchback, oh god, it's terrible in the snow. Like you drive it out and you get stuck everywhere.
Mecca just said, "Is anyone running a Sniper EFI?" It'd be in the car, except for I'm still waiting from Holly to send me my distributor.
Oh god. See, I really want Sniper or Holly Sniper so bad, but
well, I have the EFI, I have the in-tank fuel sending unit, I have the I'm getting the Hyperspark distributor. I gotta wait for them to send it. And the latest one is March 11th. I ordered this back November 17th.
Wow. I'm assuming because of
like $240 for a distributor, and I'm still waiting.
You know who to blame, Sean?
Oh, it's that lovely thing that we're not allowed to mention
Phil.
on YouTube.
No, it's Phil. You gotta blame Phil.
Oh, Phil?
Yeah, El Punzatani, he's in cahoots with your delivery people. He said 6 more weeks of winter, so they're delaying sending the stuff because they know you can't get out there to the garage to
Well,
work.
I mean, it started with
like fluffy melt.
I think it started with when I bought it in November. They said it would be available January 11th. January 11th came and went. They then set back the schedule to another couple of weeks, and then every single time that day comes up, it'll go call for availability, and then the next day it'll give me another day that's like 2 weeks down the road. So I guarantee you this is a manufacturing issue, and it's probably due to all of the nice pandemic that we're going through, affecting production, and all of that fun stuff. I know somebody suggested, well, why don't I go with an MSD distributor? Well, Holly owns MSD, and most likely the Hyperspark is probably an MSD distributor with the Hyperspark technology at the top of it. I'm sure the bottom of it is essentially an MSD distributor. But the Hyperspark plugs and plays with the Sniper EFI, so they talk to each other. Whereas I'd have to get a separate thing for the regular MSD distributor for the EFI to be able to control it. Otherwise, I would stick with the distributor I have in it right now, which is, just a dummy vacuum controlled distributor. But yeah, I can't wait to get this in because that's what's keeping me from being able to run this car on the street, was because the carburetor that I have on it, which is an Edelbrock 650, A, too small, B, probably needs a rebuild it was sitting for like 6 years with ethanol in it. That's not the greatest for it. But because it was actually the carburetor for my Nova.
The system you're going with, is it alcohol compatible for ethanol and all that, or is it strictly
the EFI? Gas? Yeah, it can run. I do believe the Sniper can run
E85 or whatever.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm not running E85 in this car because of other, obviously the fact that my engine's still from 1970s.
Higher compression, yeah.
I'm not running E85 in that car. It's bad enough I got to run 93 in it anyway. 92 or 93, whichever I can find.
Yeah, and that's why, I'm not building my cars to be anything stupid because I still wanted to run on pump gas. And because around here, I live in the middle of nowhere. There's 2,700 people in my town. We have 3 gas stations, and the highest you can get is 91 octane. Yeah. So
there is an E85 pump within 20 minutes of my home, but there's
She's
only
in a spot that would make moonshine very popular.
Well, if Big E comes in, his closest E85, because we went and looked this stuff up a while ago, his closest E85 is 2 hours away, up where Big E lives.
Yeah, I think that's about the same with me. I think the closest would be in Calgary, if they even offer E85, because it's not that popular. up here.
Yeah, I think Mechanut says he's running an LD 1906. I think that's the same one that I'm running. It's a 650 electric choke. Is what I'm running on the was what I was running on the 350 on the Nova. It's what's
You
on
better
the
have
TA
gone to
right
the
now.
airport and buying some aviation fuel.
We have plenty of drag strips for me to get aviation fuel at too. We got you got Cecil County, which is only about it's about 2 hours away too. But then there's Maple Grove.
We got a bunch of boat ramps and places that sell race fuel for the jet boats around here. So I've thrown a few gallons in the Maverick before. That was fun.
My Nova has to run on the 93 because my Nova is running flat top pistons, the ones with the valve reliefs in them, and then it's running 305 heads on it with the 202 intakes, which is a lot smaller CC head than what is supposed to be on that. So it brings the compression pretty high up.
11 and a half to 1?
Yeah.
Is that right? What, like 11 and a half?
Yeah, 11 and a half to 1.
It's
just a little bit torquey. But it runs. It's not like it runs at a head up at a higher RPMs. It only runs strong to about $5,000. Because then obviously you get overcome by the size of the exhaust port is too small to keep up with it to breathe any higher up above that.
Start floating the valves.
No, not really, because I have the stronger valve springs in that engine. It run out of literally. It just can't push the exhaust out of the cylinder fast enough because it's got like a 195 exhaust port.
Hey, do you run beehives or dual springs when you put it together? Do you remember?
No, I just knew that they were tougher springs than the factory ones. Because I got them when I got the valve spring kit, the valve seal kit. I got the upgraded springs for it, and the new
probably dual kit then.
But that was back when I first built it. Way back when, I don't remember. I didn't spend a whole lot, so it couldn't have been too expensive. But I put the high flow, high output oil pump on it, the double chain timing chain setup, the bimetal bearings for the rods and the main caps, the upgraded rings for the pistons. It's stock pistons and rods, stock crank, stock cam. Obviously stock 305 heads minus the valve springs and seals. So I mean, I didn't put a whole lot of money into it. It was budget build. Junkyard build. Just threw the parts at it that I knew that. Oh, and I put a upgraded oil pump shaft in it too.
Oh yeah. See, and I wish I actually knew the specs of the parts that I'm getting from a friend of mine, because on my inline 6, I'm doing a full build of that. Like, the only thing is I'm not doing anything to the internals, at least not yet. Because like the head, and it's such a hodgepodge of stuff that shouldn't work but does. Because the intake is actually a 4-barrel intake from what I don't know. It's an Edelbrock. That's been modified to fit that motor. The head has been ported and polished, and it's been modified to fit a removable intake. Because in Ford's infinite wisdom, they decided the intake and head was one piece.
That's the way my Nova used to be when it was the inline 6. The intake and head are one piece, and the exhaust bolt to the underside of the intake.
Yeah.
That's your typical inline 6-cylinder Chevy 250, which was what was originally in my Nova.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Alexa, dismiss.
But yeah, and then that thing, it's actually got roller rockers from a Z24 Cavalier. And
my smart devices are being an idiot right now.
Well, and then also the header that it is, it's actually two passenger side headers that are welded together, that are hooker headers, for a 4.3 liter Vortec.
There you go. Well, I mean, there's some if I would have kept the inline six, there's some things you could have done like that to build the inline six, which actually wouldn't have been a bad build. You could get some pretty decent horsepower out of an inline six.
Yeah.
But I literally had to do nothing to drop I originally dropped the 305, which actually became my my porch table. You can see pictures of that on my Instagram. I turned it into a big, like, 5-foot glass table, and then the 305 block is sitting there painted like it was like the inside's painted cast iron, so none of it's actually exposed metal, but the inside is cast iron painted, and then the outside is Chevy orange, and then the pistons and rods bolt to the top of the cylinder head and hold up the tabletop.
Nice.
But everything had to be modified for it to work. It wasn't like I could just like take the engine out and bolt stuff in weird spots and get it to work. I had to modify everything to get it to work. But I just recently lost the tabletop. We had a bad storm, and I had some wood fall on the tabletop, and it shattered it. And that's pretty bad because that was half-inch thick glass. I mean, that glass is like not like that thick, and it shattered it.
Oh, jeez. Actually, I'm going to be doing some stuff at some point here. I've got some old parts just lying around. Some stuff that like came off my car. Some stuff that's brand new that I can't use and can't return because thanks Rock Auto for that.
I had an issue with Rock Auto not returning my stuff. If I had issues with it,
I only had the one issue with Rock Auto, which was. And I mean, I measured my brakes wrong. However, they shouldn't have had this in the category anyways. That the only Fox body to run a 10-inch drum brake in the rear at a 4-lug was the Ford Fairmont wagon. Now, why was that brake option on under the Mustang? I don't know, but it was.
Because the Fairmont and the Mustang share the same chassis.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like they shouldn't have done that. It's just kind of annoying, one of those things. And then, so because of that, I bought brake shoes for that were on clearance. Pretty much those, but I can't do anything.
Right.
And yeah, but what I'm basically going to show is with all the old brake drums, those new brake drums. I want to make those into chairs, and then I want to get a flywheel and build that into a table and see if I can do it.
Yeah. Chris asked if we ever used a green screen. I have a green screen here somewhere. I have no idea where it is, but I have used one. I don't know. Have you ever had? You probably haven't had any experience with a green screen. You can use a green screen with this StreamYard app.
Yeah, I've never messed with a green screen ever. Oh.
See you later, Mechanuts.
See you, Mechanuts.
But
so does anybody got anything they're gonna be doing here this week or so?
Waiting on parts. I'm waiting for parts.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a table to dry. It's still not fully cured. That crafting table that I built. It's literally sitting.
On that table?
It's literally sitting right there. I haven't touched it except for, just testing to see if it's fully cured yet for, 2-3 weeks now? But if I had to go back and do that again, I wouldn't use the polyacrylic. Polyacrylic, I could put more coats on it quickly, but it's taking forever to dry. And unlike, I don't think it dries as hard as a regular polyurethane does.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I used to mess with woodworking quite a bit, and I always liked the more polyurethane.
But the other, go ahead.
When you got them, you could spray through a gun. Oh, it's so much nicer to lay down urethane.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I used the liquid stuff for the main bulk of it because it lays down a lot more, a lot quicker, and because I used red walnut plywood. The red walnut has really deep grain, and so it took a lot of coats just to fill in the grain, so that way the tabletop was smooth and flat.
Oh, for sure.
So I mean, there's probably at least 15 coats of poly on the top of that tabletop.
Holy crap!
And then,
yeah,
but that's also including like 6 or so coats of rattle can polyacrylic. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of layers on that table. But I still think I'm going to end up scuffing it up one more time and going to get some wipe-on poly. But I got to wait for it to be warm outside because unlike the polyacrylic, the wipe-on poly is going to have a really strong smell to it. And I don't have a garage, so I can't just do it out in the garage and leave it sit out there because, yeah, if I do it downstairs in my basement, the whole house is going to smell.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And that's kind of the problem I have here with a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, I can't work on anything inside because I live in a small trailer, right? Everything gets worked on outside. But even like in mechanics and stuff like that, people will wonder why sometimes it takes me forever. Just as, yeah, I don't have a nice garage, and the driveway that I have, especially right now, it's not level by any stretch of the imagination. It's gravel, for that matter. So even getting underneath it is a pain in the ass. And that's why, like, when I did the, my last video on the cars, which was a few days ago now, that I mentioned, you know, I changed the oil and that fixed everything with the car. But yeah, I said I started to film that, and I dropped the car off the jack stands, and there was a lot of cussing, and it's just like, yeah, no, I'm not putting that video up.
I've had a few issues with jack stands and not level surfaces or not working on concrete, and I almost crushed my buddy Will. We were at my house when I lived in the trailer on the horse farm. The driveway was gravel and mud. And we were pulling the transmission out of the truck. So we had the back end up on jack stands. We had the front end up on just roll-ons. So like the roll-on ramps. So I had the front end up on roll-on ramps, and we had the back end up on jack stands. So I had the jack stands underneath the rear axle. And the truck went sideways while he was under it. Now granted, we're lucky. That truck is the Dodge Ram 1500 Off-Road Edition. So literally you can sit underneath of that truck without it being up on jack stands at all.
Yeah,
because
sure.
I mean the bottom of the door comes up to almost my armpit at stock ride height.
Yeah, it's insane of how those newer trucks are just so freaking big now.
It's not newer. It's an 01.
Which is still newer to
It's
me. Like,
20 years old.
I know all about those.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually, I learned stick in 99 1500 with a 318 in it, 355 rear gear. That was so much fun. I miss that truck.
I'm gonna go talk. Chris asks, "Do we have any programs to recommend?" I'm guessing he's talking about using the green screen. I use OBS. Well, I actually use Streamlabs, which is a skinned version of OBS. It's more of a user-friendly version of OBS, but it's OBS at heart. And I can also use it with my DaVinci Resolve. But then again, that's also not a... It can be a beginner's program, but it's not a beginner's machine. Like, you need a quite powerful machine to run DaVinci Resolve well. But yeah, I use DaVinci Resolve for OBS. Huh?
I just had someone try to buy my Maverick off me.
How'd that go?
Yeah, no.
That's like somebody trying to buy this thing off me. You'd have to give me one hell of a price for me to give up that car.
Well, you know,
You'd have to give me a 68 Plymouth Roadrunner.
That wouldn't buy my Trans Am off me.
I'm just saying. For me, that would.
both of my Mustangs in RFPs.
You couldn't give me both of your Mustangs to give me up my TA.
I mean, that's fine. Like, to be honest, that's totally fine. That's your Trans Am. Actually, somebody offered, like, they just ghosted me at this point, so I don't know what's going on with that. I was actually offered $4,500 for my notchback, which would actually give me over $1,000 profit on the car. So it's just like, that was tempting, and I said yes, but then the guy just disappeared, so I don't know what the hell's happening with that. Because that's way more than the car's worth, so that's the whole reason why I was actually saying yes to it. But
yeah, I don't know. You have those cars that you won't give up, and my Nova and my TA are those. I mean, even though my Nova is sitting in a field right now, it's not that I don't want to have it in the garage to work on it. It's I don't have the ability to have it in the garage to work on it right now.
Man, I would say though, is with my Maverick though, I really am attached to that car because of the history I got with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's why. Because nobody in their right mind is going to give me a Roadrunner, a '68 Roadrunner, that's in pristine condition for the Maverick. That's just someone crazy to do that. That's why I set that kind of bar just way up there. Like, okay, I know no one's ever going to do that.
Oh, for sure. And like, yeah, the thing is, right now, before I do any of the work to the car that needs to be done, or like the stuff I want to do, I'd be willing to sell it. Like, I love that car, but it's not like a dream car of mine. In fact, until like, the thing is with Fox bodies, I didn't get into them until I bought that one almost 2 years ago.
I'm not. Fox bodies really don't do it for me. I like the earlier, like, I'm still like an oddball Mustang. I like. Well, I have them underneath my hats. I like the 72, 71, 72, 73s.
Which those are actually really popular right now.
Yeah, I like the fastback version of those. I don't like the notchback version of those. The regular coupes.
Yeah, they don't have the right buttons, at all. And like some of my favorite Mustang is if you get a late 70s, like a 78, a Mustang 2 Gia that is a coupe. I love those.
Well, speaking of Mustangs, and you might like this channel, I just started following a channel. He apparently acquired his dad's Mach 1. I think it's a Mach 1. Hold on, let me double check before I spout off my mouth and don't have any idea what I'm talking about.
There was a few different Mach 1s out there, so I guess, what year is it?
Hold on. I know.
So what is your dream car, Cat?
Hey, as soon as I hear like Mustangs, the thing is, people come to me with their cars all the time, and there's people that want me to buy their Fox bodies all the time, and just like, I don't have the money for this stuff. I'm broke. Stop it.
Okay, the channel is really funny. The channel is literally called My Life, and it is a 1970 Mach 1 with the grabber orange with the black shaker hood scoop.
Oh yeah, I can picture it in my head right now. Exactly how that looks. Oh yeah.
It probably doesn't look much different than this one, even though this is a Boss.
Well, actually, yeah, that's a 69 Boss.
Yeah, this is a 69.
Yeah, I know where a 69 Boss sits in a field right now, just rotting away.
That's actually one of the two models that I just picked up to do as a test run, because I'm not starting that Firebird as my first one after not doing models. So this is the other one that I picked up.
Oh, a Duster.
It's a Duster.
I actually built this model with its old box art. It was actually a real picture of a red and black Duster was the old box art. I built that one back when I was like 16. But I picked up those two. I'm glad you're missing Big E because that means that he's wanted up on the stream. He said he'd be in late. I don't know how late, but he said he'd be in late.
Well, and the only because I have a couple of models, but the models that I do have, like the one I've had since I was like 5 years old, and it's completely destroyed at this point. But it's a '69 Trans Am Forged in black, which was not the original colors on them, but I guess they didn't have the proper licensing for this one, so that's why it's orange and black.
A lot of them back then didn't have the proper licensing. The only one that I do believe had actually gotten proper licensing was MPC, and it wasn't their first couple that they did, because the original one was called the Blackbird that they released. And no, it didn't have Firebird or Trans Am written on it anywhere. But it was a Firebird. It is actually the original tooling for the kit that I have now, which is by MPC. It's a 1/18 scale, or no, it's a 1/18 scale from MPC. It's their new release they just put out, which has the gold Trans Am on the box art. But it is actually that original tooling, just re-released with some modern stuff in it. But yeah, that was the only company I think to originally get an actual licensing to run the Trans Am and Firebird back in the early '80s. Now I know they have some officially licensed one from Revel and stuff like that now, but they didn't back then.
Oh yeah, for sure. And well, actually, something that I have that's kind of cool. A friend of this made this for me. This is essentially, now obviously it doesn't have
tilt it down a little bit so that way the reflection from the screen isn't.
I'm trying to see if I can get this better. Let's see. Can you?
You don't have any. You only have the light from the computer, and it's not reflecting very well.
Well, that's lame. But basically, what it is my car, except for an '82, painted up like my car.
That's pretty cool.
That's interesting. And the thing is, although I might do a different design with my car by the time I'm done, because of what I'm doing with the interior, but we'll see. Because I have access to a '84 Shelby Charger, and I kind of want to put the Shelby seats in my Mustang.
Yeah. This car behind me won't be black when I'm done with it either. I'm going with almost like a midnight purple. So it'll be black, but whenever the light hits it, it'll color shift to purple.
Yeah, those actually, that's a really awesome color. I love those.
And then it'll have the blue. It'll have the blue Phoenix on the hood.
Oh, blue Phoenix. Cool. Yeah, that'll look great. Honestly.
But
yeah, because like with my car, because of like I already have I have blue seat belts and red seats right now. The rest of the interior is gray. It's not really gelling at the moment. So I'm gonna get rid of those red seats and put in these, like, they're gray and blue seats, which is perfect because I want the car to be gray on the outside. And yeah, they're straight from an '84 Shelby Charger. That I can probably pick up the whole car for like $200, so it's like worth it. I'll just have to modify these seats to fit. It's really comfortable too. That's back when these sporty cars had these big ass seats in them that were so comfortable. I missed that.
And I'll tell you this: if somebody gives me the money for the S10, I'll sell the S10 body how it rolls right now. Because I kind of want to go by the 71 Duster. It's in the yard.
Yeah, see, it took out of my heartstrings with the Duster there. Like, the thing is, I'm a Mopar girl through and through. Just, I own Fords right now.
I got my Maverick. I got my 240 SX and that S10 pickup. I am in the line to buy the 71 Duster and a 64 Impala SS.
I wish I had those cars. I don't have room. Like, I'm borrowing. Like, the thing is, I have carte blanche at a friend's property to put whatever I want on it, but only for 2 years. So I gotta be careful.
Yeah. My Nova's been sitting at my girlfriend's dad's place since we moved up here.
Yeah, the junkyard I go to, the gentleman that owns it, he's known me since I was probably 6 or 7 years old. So the cars that I do want on there, he pulls them to a spot and tells me, "Hey, nobody's going to pick these parts off. They're here for you when you get the money."
Yeah.
See, there you go. You can see a little better now.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah, the only thing is it doesn't have the proper spoiler on the back, obviously, and the hood scoop is not correct. But
Hey, Kat, go into your video settings. See if you can click the option for the 720p. Because I think your camera probably could do better, be clearer, but I think it's at the stock settings for StreamYard.
My wife picked me up a Hot Wheels in the style of my Maverick. I'm kind of want to do it.
That's
It's
a nice
not-
color. You see where it is?
I'm not getting the option for that. So.
Is it only having it at 480?
Oh, no, it's not even showing me that.
I can't wait. I got my axles ordered. They're going to be in
Go
here
to
this week.
I'm not sure if she can still hear me, but she should go to the camera.
No, she's off right now.
Yeah, I'll wait for her to come back.
But no, I got the axles. They're going to be here next day or two, and then I'm going to attempt to convert my front end over to disc brakes for under $100.
Okay, I don't want to touch that again.
Well, I was gonna say is you go down to the camera mic option and go down to advanced options underneath of where it says to pick what your webcam you're using.
I'm not even getting that option. Like, all it's showing me is camera and whether I want the front face, if I have it on right now.
Are you yeah, you're using your phone, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, that might be why.
Yeah,
I think it's only rendering you in 480.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But Rockabilly, are you using headphones
It is.
or are you playing the thing through your speakers?
I just got it hooked up to my phone.
Yeah, because I know that if I mute you, we don't get that. It sounds like we're all talking underwater through your mic. That's what the comment was. Who sounds like they're scuba diving? And the reason I know it's you because I muted your mic a little while ago and it went away. Yeah, that's why I recommend when you guys join the live stream to instead of just depending on the noise cancellation through the app, is to use a microphone. I mean a headset. Whether it's just
I haven't picked the headset up yet.
Yeah, which is the reason why I always use just this little earbud thing plugged into my stereo, so that way I don't have to worry about getting that echo.
Well, yeah. For the future, I will have the everything set up a little better because I wanted to see if this was going to work with the phone first. But I do have a headset and everything that I can use, so yeah. I can do that next time.
Yeah, I don't expect any of this thing to be professional. It's just that anything we can do to improve helps the guys out in the chat listening, because those are the ones that end up having to deal with anything that is a pain in the butt up here on screen for us.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because I'm looking at getting a webcam because I don't really want to spend the money on a nice one.
Well, but, I run the Logitech. What is it? It's I can't read it. It is the. I think it says the C922. I think that's what it says. I can't read it because of the back. The ring light is just blinding me when I go up there. Because we have a
Hey, hang on a second. I'll be right back. I might actually have a mic.
But and they're not too expensive, but they may be hard to find right now because of COVID and everybody doing Zoom meetings and everything else. There's a lot of things that are hard to find right now. Computer parts being one, webcams, because everybody's building gaming rigs and things to do virtual this and virtual that. And then everybody's buying up webcams because of all the online meetings that everybody's having now.
I've been looking at the Logitech 920Xs, I believe they're called, and they're $120 Canadian.
What is it?
Can't find it.
That's okay. What did you say it was again, Kat?
Logitech 920X.
It's pretty. It's basically the same. You can just go with the regular 920 or the 922, and they're both great webcams. We have one of each of them.
Okay.
What I'm running right now is the 922, I think.
I'll look into it. Just like because right now I have money, but I don't at the same time.
Yeah, I think the 920 is like $60 to $80, and the 922 I think is like $20 more.
Yeah. Well, with the conversion and with shipping and everything to Canada, it winds up being a bit more. But yeah. Like that's one thing nice about the shipping, that you don't have to worry about that as much. It's always cheaper in the States. But not the end of the world. And just I live off of a very fixed income. So and then whatever I can get from selling people's vehicles for them, which has dried up a little bit lately, but that's good. The last vehicle I sold was a month ago, and I do have a couple of pre-sold just waiting for snow to melt so they can be picked up.
Yeah, Chris, I'm just gonna have you mute your mic when you're not talking. Just unmute you when unmute yourself when you're gonna say something.
I don't think mine having issues.
Or do you have to reach forward every time you want to mute it or unmute it? Yeah, I'm guessing so.
I'm glad to reach forward every time. Yeah.
All right. Just trying to find a solution that works.
Hey, y'all having a lot of trouble with my side?
Yeah, we're just getting a lot of like whenever me or Kat or Chris talks, you hear us, but we're not like it's not like an echo. It's just like if you were to put your radio under the bathtub water and tried to listen to the radio.
Yeah, there's a little bit of feedback, and it's definitely through yours. Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, I was actually about to get off here, so possibly have to get something else, like a mic or something like that. Then
you don't really need a mic; you just need a headphone, or just like the stock headphone that comes with your phone. Normally they have the mic in it because that's exactly what this is. This is actually the microphone for my phone. I just have it plugged into my stereo. Though it's not using the mic off of this; it's using the snowball in front of me. But
right.
But yeah.
But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I gotta get up in the morning.
All right, you guys, you have fun, and we'll see you maybe next week.
Yep, possibly next week. Let's see how it all goes. All right, later.
Yep.
Have a good night, man.
By the way, I hit 1 million views. I think on Friday.
Congrats.
I saw that.
1 million views. That's such a freaking huge ass number.
Oh yeah, I'm nowhere near that. I've
been at it a while.
Yeah, and that's really awesome because I think you put that up on Instagram, I think.
Yeah, I get like 2,000 views a day.
Yeah, I wish. I don't get that.
And the thing is I haven't really put up a substantial video other than my live streams in a year.
Yeah, which I'm surprised that you actually get that many considering.
DIY videos. I don't have to touch them. They They don't ever go out of style. They don't ever, like, you know, it's not like when you placed a vlog video or like an update video, obviously that information, it doesn't necessarily travel well over time. So its replayability is minor. Versus, you know, putting a heater core in a Dodge truck, especially when you're the first recommended video, because like if you were to type in Dodge Ram 1500 heater core in your Google, my video will be one of the top 5 that pop up.
Well, that's nice.
It's one of the top 5 recommended videos for that that job. But yeah, it's just you know, it's stuff like that. I have 300 and some videos, or almost 300 and some videos. So yeah, when you have that amount of videos, you know,
it helps.
Yeah, it's a lot of videos to get views on. So
yeah, I'm at 71 right now, so it's gonna be a while.
71 views or 71,000?
Oh no, 71 total. And then I'm at, how many views am I on the channel? Actually, I'd have to look on my YouTube Studio.
I use TubeBuddy.
And that works too, but
I pay for TubeBuddy too.
Yeah, I don't pay for any of these. That's
well, see, you're also not getting paid by YouTube yet. So like again, there's certain things like what we were talking about earlier in the live stream that makes sense to do once you're monetized and getting paid, versus what makes sense for someone just starting out that isn't monetized yet. It doesn't make sense for you to dump a whole lot of money into your YouTube channel yet because you're not getting anything back yet. You want to dump enough money into it to make it worth it, but there's no point in dumping more than that. You know, like, would I have paid to have copyrighted music in my video back when I was your size? No way. But I do it now. I pay a subscription to be able to have certain copyrighted songs in my videos. I mean, they're not big copyrights. They're not Guns N' Roses and, you know, Kiss and stuff. But it's a step above the free music you can find on YouTube and other places. You know, it's a little bit better quality, a little bit more put together, and it's a little less, you know, sounds that everybody is using. But again, I'm in a different spot, you know. I've obviously am not in the same position you are in the age of your channel and the growth of your channel.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and it's just, you know, and I think it's growing slowly, and I'm quite, you know, pleased with how it.
Be patient. I mean, it's just like, you know, you're just going to end up having that one video that hits just the right topic, just the right way you put it together, and it's, you know, you're gonna hit the right growth and learn the right stuff to be able to keep that attention at that particular point in time, because a lot of us can have a lot of good videos, but we don't pull them off very well right away, and that can be a missed opportunity. But where everybody gets to that point to where, well, not everybody, it's when you get to that point to where you have the right topic, you did the right filming, the right editing, you know, and at the right time. You know, and it may not be something that you put a whole lot of money into. I mean, it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, you dumped all this money. It's just because most of my really good videos have almost no money involved in them at all.
Yeah, like, cause my top video for views has over 6,500 views on that video.
What's your retention on that video?
Yeah, it's not super high. Like, it's usually one view.
Okay.
But the thing, and that's the problem. Like, I don't have as much, and that's why actually I will post my videos absolutely everywhere. Right. Compared to most people that don't. I wanna.
You can take this how you will. What you just said says something about that video. Okay, it's got a lot of views, and you said that the retention time isn't very long on that video.
Yeah.
So what happens, what that means is that your thumbnail and your title pulled them in. Your thumbnail and your title worked really well for that video. You got them to click on your video.
Yeah, well,
What
see,
happened?
actually,
Go ahead.
I know how that video got popular, and it's not the nicest way of it getting popular. Because it was totally unintentional. You probably heard when Robert was on here, he mentioned stuff about pedal pumping. That's why. And I'm not happy about it because like I got all these perverts in the comments and stuff, and I had to really filter them out. And I don't know why that sort of content just explodes, and it's creepy.
Yes.
So yeah.
And
it just happened to be
what
starting
is your
both.
what is your I'm gonna deep dive on your channel for a half a second here. What is your most viewed video with your highest retention time?
That's a good.
Because that's what you need to look at. It's not just about what your highest viewed video is. It's what video did they view and stick around for.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Like, I know the average retention is only like 2.5 minutes right now. Which
what percentage of that is of your videos? Because it depends on how long your videos are, whether or not that's good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, my videos aren't the shortest in the world. Like, usually they're over 20 minutes, so it makes sense why it's so low.
Yeah. And I bet you if you edited those videos, they would probably come down to about 10 to 15 minutes.
For some of them, yeah. Okay, that's the last 28 days. I'm not used to using this on the computer.
It's the best place. Analytics on the computer is so much better than the analytics on your phone.
Oh no, I'm just not used to it. That's all.
All right.
Like looking at because I'm trying to filter it because right now it's saying in the last 28 days. Well, I kind of want lifetime. And,
yeah, you go up. There's a thing that'll show you the dates, and you just click lifetime.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. So it is actually. Let's see the average view duration. Yeah. So okay, that video was 6,566 views right now, which is issues with both my cars. The average view duration is only 1:49.
What should say percentage next to that? One of the other columns should be view percentage.
8.1.
Huh?
8.1. 8.1.
8.1%. Okay, so what is your next highest viewed video with at least 20 to 30% retention?
That would be I got rid of the Capri video, which is 29.3%, and that has 1,303 views. But that video is only 5 minutes long, so that's the difference there too.
Yeah. So I mean, and what it basically is showing you is that you're decent at coming up with a video title and a thumbnail, but you need to work on keeping people's interest.
Oh, for sure.
And like I said, editing comes into that. The way you film your videos comes into that. It looks like you just got a new subscriber.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, Jesse just subscribed to you.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, it's and that stuff. All that that's what's good about the analytics is knowing what to look for. Because everybody says, "Oh, I get a lot of views on this video." Well, you get a lot of views, but they don't stick around. Then that tells you that your thumbnail and your title pulled them in, but then you lost them. Or vice versa. You may have a video that doesn't have a whole crap ton of views, right? But the people that do view it stick around.
Oh,
so if
for
you've
sure.
got high retention, but you don't have high views, then what might have happened is you might not have a good title or thumbnail.
Freaking pilot.
So you have a good you have a good video, but people aren't clicking on it because they don't. Yeah, I know. You see the comments.
Not the first time. Definitely not the last time I've seen
pilot's
that.
harmless.
And no, I'm single, but I'm also gay. So good luck.
There you go. But anyway, so like you you know, if you have the opposite, if you have high retention value, but you're not getting a lot of views, you probably have a really good video in your hands. You might want to go back and try editing the thumbnail or the title to be more catchy. Some of my videos I did that with. I realized that quick and easy in the title for some of my DIYs was pulling in a lot of people. So I switched some of my other ones that were dead, and I switched it to those, and man, they just took off. My heater core video was one. There was a couple others that I did that with, and yeah, they took off. Where it was my thumbnail and title that was holding my video back instead of my actual. Oh my god! Chill down, settle. But you know what I mean. So looking at your analytics helps you decide, you know, why am I not performing as much as I want to? Where can I do better? What can I do better? And self-critiquing, being able to, if I could word, I need to English, critique, being able to critique yourself. You know, I know some of my videos, you know, they'll get pulled in by the thumbnail or the title. They won't stay very long, but it may be because it wasn't really the video that they were looking for. You know?
Oh, for sure. I know. Because a lot of my views, I know that, and I've tested this too, of how many people actually will watch videos. Because lately my videos have been doing very well. Like at least view wise, not necessarily for time wise of them watching, but you know, view wise and comments as well have been up a lot more lately, which has been nice.
That might have to do with the and I would probably say it probably has to do with the community, not competition. Maybe if you go look at where they're finding your videos at.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely possible. I mean, like the thing is, when I post everywhere, I go to
There's a page in your analytics that should show you where your views are coming from.
Yeah, there is. Just trying to remember.
Whether if it's from browser, most likely it's from you posting it everywhere. If it's from, there's I forget what the other options are. But YouTube, Google search means they're actually looking for particular things. Recommended means that YouTube posted your thumbnail somewhere and they clicked on it from that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, and yeah, this actually does go a little more in depth than what the phone does. But the phone does most of this. It's just
yes, it does. But it does the computer version lets you cross-reference different things to find out why a particular stat might be higher or lower in one place or another. Like I said, views to retention value. If you're getting a lot of views but not a lot of retention, obviously you're getting people to click on the video, but you're not holding their interest. If it's the opposite way where you're getting really good retention time but not a lot of views, well, then at that point that's telling you that obviously that you're not getting the people to click on your video, and the ones that do click on it actually enjoy what they're watching and stick around. Oh
yeah.
And different other things. And it also tells you like where people stop watching. That's also a good thing.
Yeah.
If you know where somebody is turning off of your videos and you go back and you watch the video up to that point, you can probably pick out yourself why somebody left the video. Whether it's...
and
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, no. And I've noticed it in a few of the videos. And oddly enough, something that I'm hoping is going to help that, because I have that mic coming in from my phone, and I've had issues with sound for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless if you have like if you're just watching it on your phone, for example, and you don't have a speaker going, sometimes it's a little hard to hear me because especially like I'm ADD. And so I'll turn away
ADHD.
a lot because something catches my attention. And when I do that and still continue talking, though, it's a lot quieter. And I have had people complain about that. Just like, I'm sorry, I just haven't had the money for a mic until now.
Yeah.
So, and I'm hoping that makes a little bit of a difference.
Always have to, and this is also where, like I said, the editing comes into play. Because if you realize that you maybe looked away, you can go back and re-record what you said. And either A, you can do it in post-production, which is like after you're done recording and you go back to edit it and you realize as you're editing the video and you play it back, you realize, oh wow, that's really quiet. Well, either A, you can type in subtitles down at the bottom of what you know that you said, or B, you can do what they call a voiceover and just record what you said over again and edit it into the video. But, you know, and that's again, different things you can do. Yes, Chris, unboxing videos do good to a point. It depends on what you're unboxing.
Are you software that you use, Sean? Do you have the option when you're editing like that you can, like, if you're like a spot like you just said there with her being low, without doing a voiceover, can you actually increase the audio to bring it up as well when you're editing?
Too. You can actually increase but all right, Chris, I'm gonna tell everybody flat out. The software that I use is the same software they use to make movies, like full on blockbuster production movies. It's the same software. So there's more that this software can do than I even know that it can do at this point. It can do way more than I can even do, which is exactly where I wanted. It's got a lot of room for me to grow into. Whereas the other software that I was using, it got to the point to where I wanted it to do more than it could do. So I outgrew it. But yeah, I mean, even the I'm pretty sure even the Windows Movie Maker will let you increase the volume of the stock track, or turn it down if something's too loud.
I think you're right, actually. Yeah.
Which that could help, even if you don't cut it and splice it. Even if you just are able to turn up the volume some places where you know that it's too quiet, might help.
It might, definitely. And yeah, we'll see. Exactly. I haven't messed with any editing on my channel, obviously, yet. It's just.
I just gotta think. Power Director, I think, is an app that you can get on your phone, and will let you do some of that to edit right on your phone.
Oh, see, that would be nice, actually. 'Cause
I used. If you go back to the videos of when I had my 3-year-old, I was stuck at the hospital and I couldn't get to my computer. I edited all of the videos from that time period on my phone, and I used Power Director to do it.
I'm just typing that on the computer so I don't forget.
Yeah, so that might be an option for you as well, and I think you can get a version of Power Director on your laptop as well.
Yeah, there is one on there too.
And I think it's the same one. Yeah, iMovies for people that have iPhones. I'm not even going to get in the subject of iPhones and Apple products because me and them don't get along. That's a personal preference, not necessarily it's a biased opinion. Let's just put it that way. I just
Apples were made for pies and moonshine. Period. End of discussion.
I could go into there's a lot of things I don't like about Apple and the way they do things and their products.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying that they're horrible. They're just they're just enough. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Apple stuff. Like, I considered actually getting just for iMovie that way, of getting an iPhone, just a cheap older one that didn't really matter, that had a decent camera. Which, trying to find one that's older with a decent camera, good luck.
Well, that and the Apple product, the Apple computers, to be able to get a computer that runs as good as this one, you're looking to spend probably double what I put this one together for. And then their products are expensive as well. Their software. It's just...
Yeah, and that's the one nice thing about Android is that if you're like me and you're broke, you can get it for free typically.
Yeah.
Like,
it's because...
But with Apple, you can't.
It's because Android is open sourced.
Yeah.
Whereas Apple products are not. They do not play well with others. Period.
Proprietary.
Yep, very proprietary, and in doing so, they even flat out say it. They pick things that they think you should be wanting and into. They don't give you a choice. They're very I don't know. I just don't like them, and I don't.
Biased.
I cannot recommend using Apple products. In fact, I would throw my Apple products for work across the room if I could and not get in trouble for it. I hate using them for work.
Hey, I can tell you the best thing about Apple products from my standpoint. They push you downhill real well.
Well, and like Jesse said, he has an iPhone and it works good. That's right. It works good. It works just enough.
Yeah, like, I mean, the thing is, I use, like, my phone is the Huawei P20, which is a decent phone. The only thing that I hate about it is that it doesn't have a headphone port, and also I get burn-in on the screen. Like, after this stream is done, there's gonna be a bad burn-in, but other than that,
I'm a little bit of a prissy. I have the top of the line Samsung phones. I have had them for, geez, I can't even tell you how long I've had top of the lines, and I'm just waiting for the price of the new S21 to drop a little bit. And
Hello, country boy.
I'm going to be picking up the new S21, and then this one will become a new camera phone. This one will be a new camera for my live streams. I mean, not for my live streams, for my videos.
Like, this phone might eventually turn into that, but when I do my new contract, I should keep it so.
If you have a phone that you no longer use as a phone and it still works good enough as a camera, there is no point in putting it away.
Oh, absolutely. Like,
because it's another angle. Because I mean, the more phones you can have recording at one time. Because the thing about it, okay, if you're recording, so I know I've seen how you do some of your videos. Okay, you have the one on the tripod in front of you. Let's say you have another one on a tripod. Just add a shot of the one in front of you, but from the side. Well, now what you can do is with editing, you can switch back and forth between the two clips. And you can technically use the recording of the sound off of the camera that's closer to you for the sound through the whole thing, but yet flip-flop between the both angles, so you have those cuts. And the cool thing about doing those cuts and those flip-backs between two different camera angles is it keeps your brain engaged when you're watching it.
Oh, absolutely.
Your brain gets bored if it's in the same camera angle for more than 30 seconds to a minute. So the more you can keep your camera angles changing without being like, oh my god, it's a freaking strobe show. You obviously don't want to flip cameras that much. But the more you can change your angles and the more you can, change something up and keep it from being static, the more you're going to engage your audience and the more they're gonna stick around.
Oh boy, are we watching a video or a stripper party?
Oh, hey, Team Mechanic is here. Nice to see you there.
I see Team Mechanic. I see Country Boy Gas Garage.
Yeah.
Those are both new. I haven't seen either of those before. I don't think.
Yeah, well,
Country Boy might have been in here a stream or two ago. Or I just remember him from another live stream.
Yeah, well, and Team Mechanic, he's actually the guy that bought the Marco off of me. So
what?
He's working on that and getting it back up. He's only 15, which is pretty cool. And like his enthusiasm for it and his attitude towards it, that's what made me sell the car to him, because otherwise I wasn't going to sell it to him. So yeah, and it just, I do like actually his content, because he does do a little bit deeper dives into stuff and whatever else.
And actually his explanation of Apple is exactly perfect. Apple is definitely designed for simple, people that just want to keep it simple, stupid. Unfortunately, that is the way a lot of the world is right now. Is they don't want to think, and it's probably part of the reason why we're having some of the issues that we have today in society is people would rather somebody else think for them.
Half of them can't think anyways.
But yeah, I just don't. I can't get behind Apple. I don't like somebody that's going to sit here and tell me what to do and what to think and how to use my product. It's just the way I am.
Yeah.
I built my own computer for the same reason. I wanted to put what I wanted in my computer. I build my own stuff. I work on my own stuff. I don't mind putting in a little bit more extra work to get what I want. It's just how I am, and I'm not saying that somebody else can't enjoy iPhones or Apple operating systems. You can like and enjoy whatever you want. Just I don't. That's my opinion.
Well, exactly. And it's no different than like preferences with cars too, a little bit, right? Like, you don't like the Fox Body Mustangs, and that's totally fine. Just like with me, like I do like those 4th gen Novas, but they're not my favorite.
I can't say that they were my favorite either when I first bought it. I am very partial to a 71, 72 Nova. I
think everybody is.
Well, it's because you'll have the ones that like the 69, 70s. The 68, 69, 70.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's just they are a little bit different. That is true. I have noticed a resurgence for those 71, 72 up to 74.
You're not going to get somebody that likes the 73 and 74s. They're almost as hated as much as our 75 through 79s. They're more popular than the 75 through 79s, but they're not the most desirable, mainly because of the large bumper overhangs.
Oh yeah, like they have though. I've noticed, just at least with people when they've listed their vehicles lately, and I pay attention to what people will ask and then what they actually sell for and stuff like that. People have been trying to ask more money for those lately, actually.
The 70s, the late 70s, yeah.
And it's just due to the fact that the 70, 71, 72s have gone insane in price.
Well, it's not just that. The thing is what happens is the generation of people looking for cars is moving. So you're getting into the generation that their parents drove the 75 through 79 Novas. So they grew up with that car. You know what I mean? And that's what you're getting into. You're getting into the people that are looking for these cars now are old enough that they didn't grow up with the early 70s, late 60s cars. They grew up with the late 70s cars. And as it moves across, you're going to have that. But yeah, you're also right. The earlier gen cars are getting harder to find and more expensive. But the problem is what they're going to find is these later 70s cars are really hard to find. Because everybody's been using them for derby cars. So they're really hard to find.
Oh yeah,
derby cars are short track.
Yeah, like the one I'm going to be selling, because it's actually, I'm surprised at how good a condition it is. Like, yeah, it has its rust, but it's really not that bad. It's a 77 two-door. That's what I have. Coupe, not a hatch. And
wait, are we talking Mustangs or Novas at this point?
Nova.
Okay. Yeah, Nova. That's what I have. I have a 72 two-door. I mean, a 77 two-door.
Okay, yeah, so same thing. Is yours a hatch or is it a truck model?
No, it's a regular, just a two-door.
Okay. Yeah, because like this one, really surprised because like on the driver's side, like, okay, yeah, it needs a quarter, but you're never going to find a quarter. You have to patch it yourself.
No, the 75 through 79 Novas, you can find what they call a half quarter, which is from the body line down, all the way from the door to the bumper.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know you could.
I have two of them. I have a left and a right side sitting in my storage, waiting for my car. They cost me about $150 each.
That's not bad at all. Wow, considering. And it's kind of funny when you see prices for that stuff, compared to like, okay, you want to do the same thing. For example, let's say you want to get those for a Dart of the same vintage. You'd be paying $600 per vendor.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a Mopar tax for some reason.
Well, there's a Trans Am tax, there's a Mopar tax, there's a Chevelle tax, there's a it's whatever car is desirable. Try finding Chevelle parts. Chevelles themselves, completely rotted out rollers, will cost you more than a fully restored version of my Nova would.
Oh, hey, Biggie.
Howdy.
By the way, you were missed, Biggie.
I'm sure I was.
No, I'm not kidding.
Yes.
There were people in the comments saying, "Hey, where's Big E at?"
Ow.
Yeah. Actually,
Pilot was crying in his ice house.
Well, there was literally one comment that says, "I miss Big E." So
yeah, you don't realize we're I don't even know how far we're in, and I never. It's all right. We've been here for 2 hours. I did not go get a glass to put my freaking beverage in, and I had not even opened up my soda to drink. I am dying of thirst at the moment.
Well, do something about it. You
haven't done your top of the hour points.
We've been having a worthwhile discussion.
Yeah, that's honestly when you get two people that are very talkative, that happens.
Especially when they both have ADHD or ADD.
Oh yeah.
I am cheating. I am foregoing the glass. We're just going to pour the alcohol straight in the can.
Nice. I forgot.
I probably poured a little too much alcohol in that.
Oh, stop. You ain't got to go nowhere.
Yeah, and...
But, yeah, and that is exactly that. And I have a hard time sometimes keeping an eye on chat sometimes when it does that. And, hey, you guys in the chat, and you guys up here on the screen, if I'm missing doing something, hey, remind me. Because I probably just stopped thinking about it.
Yeah,
but we will give everybody that is in here right now, let's see, especially since a certain somebody isn't here, and that's just a rolling gag. I have nothing against Cletus. Obviously, I really like Cletus, but I just love poking it to him. So we're going to go... There we go. That ought to do it. So hopefully that works. Somebody's going to have a big jump in points. Ooh, excuse me. Or not.
Somebody?
We'll see. We'll see if that worked. If it didn't work, well then I don't know what to tell you.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it worked. It worked. Whoever was talking in chat, because I realized that Chris has how much I gave him. Because I know he wasn't in here very long, so... Where is, Jesse should have gotten points. Why didn't he get points?
Yeah, still on top. And because I don't know if Robert's garage...
Maybe Jesse wasn't talking for a little bit?
Could be.
Yeah, that might have been it. Because I don't see him talking, like, very near future. I think it literally has to be within the last couple of minutes that you're talking when I put viewers. Because I know that Chris was just talking. Pilot should have just gotten a lot more points, and I think he did.
Yeah, I know I did. Yeah, and I...
Where's Country Boy, though? Country Boy was just talking not long ago.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few. I mean, and oddly enough, well, actually did... Oh, no, he wouldn't have enough points yet. Because I was just saying Team Mechanic...
I only gave him 20. Well, we're gonna bump his up because he was in here talking. So anyone that I see that I know is in here but wasn't talking, wasn't doing it, I'm just going to give them the points. Okay, so who else was that? Jesse, I need to find Jesse.
Yeah, and also, I did notice that Team Mechanic said that he needs new half quarters for the Monaco, and I mean, yeah, the 1 quarter was pretty bad, but...
Yeah, you may, it depends on how popular that car is, you may have to just source
You're going to have to custom fab it, because I don't think, unless if Autometal Direct might...
You can either custom fab or find a donor.
Finding a donor 78 Monaco?
You'd be amazed how many late 70s, early 80s cars are still hanging around places.
Oh yeah, well the thing is, when
Did I miss
he
anybody?
actually found for the car I sold him, he said that that was the only one in Western Canada for sale.
Yeah. Okay,
So
I
like
got
they only
Country Boy. I got
so,
Jesse. Chris already got his. Miss Formy, I hopefully got hers. I can't tell because I don't know where she was at before. Am I missing anyone else? Pilot probably got his. I don't know if Iggy, if you got yours.
Pretty sure I did.
Yeah, that's the thing with when I do give points in the live, if I give it to everybody, that's part of keeping up with the chat. If you guys keep commenting, the more often you comment, the more points you get. Whoever has the most, the top couple of people that have the most points at the end of the season, I do give away stuff. Which reminds me, I still need to freaking get in touch with people and. Oh shoot. I've opened this in the wrong thing. I've literally been showing the StreamYard thing for the last freaking whatever, haven't I? Yes, I have. Oops.
I was gonna say, is that 75? Does it have decent fenders on it, or is it just the road shit?
Who, mine?
No. I'm talking to Team Mechanic there in the chat. Because his Monaco, the Monaco that I sold him is a 78. And both the rear fenders are just they're done. You can't get them new, but he just mentioned that he found a
78 what?
Monaco?
78, which they would be interchangeable with the Polera, and there was a Chrysler as well, but I can't remember what the Chrysler was. Because if I'm not mistaken, not the Cordoba fenders, but not Charger either.
78 Monaco Polera. No, it says for 66, 65.
Because it should be interchangeability. I think should be from 75 to 78.
NOS 74, 76. Oh, those are wheel well moldings.
Oh.
Well, the Cordoba was only the 2-door. They did make a 4-door version of the Monaco as a Chrysler. Because they never made a 4-door Cordoba.
Did they make an American version of that car that has the same quarters?
Maybe would have. Then I'm trying to remember. God, it's been a while since I've thought about the late 70s big ass Mopars. Yeah, because the Cordoba was the 2-door luxury car. They never made the Cordoba in a 4-door because this is a 4-door Monaco, right? If it was a 2-door, you might be able to get away with Cordoba fenders.
Well, you can sometimes use the like on the Novas, you can use the 2-door quarters. You just obviously have to cut them to fit the 4-door.
Yeah, which you could probably make it work that way too. Actually, the New Yorker, that was the one.
Is that the same body?
Yeah, it would have had the same body on it. So,
so 78 New Yorker.
Yeah, which finding one of those too is really tough too. But like, and also if you have like if you can't find fenders at all, and if you just don't have the fabrication skills to fab anything up, let me know. I do have a friend that has a water jet table. We might be able to work something out. There you go. That'd be funny.
What?
Oh, he just said he could cut off Cavalier fenders and make it work.
If it works, it works.
Not the quarter panel light.
Yeah, I mean, you need the correct thickness on the fenders, though, which Cavalier fenders would be way too thin.
I found a headliner, front fender.
The fact you found a headliner is surprising.
Passenger side skirt for a 77 Yorker. A hood.
Oh, hey, Cletus, yeah, we're still going strong.
Yeah, we still chilling.
Yeah, and I mean, there are some things you can buy.
We're still sitting at 10 viewers, so I'm good.
Yeah, well, 11 now.
What was that?
Yeah, like,
quarter potty molding.
well, and also I know some of the other
headlight
stuff
bucket.
and also like I know that most of the lenses on the outside of that thing were done. Which I think you might just have to find somebody with a 3D printer and get those 3D printed. But
a lot of plastic parts are like that, especially with like the Novas too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was bad. Like, and to be honest, the car is quite solid. Like, there's no rust underneath the car that I remember.
Right, but the only problem is when you find cars like that, you gotta literally hunt the junkyards constantly.
Oh yeah. That was no difference.
Until recently, you couldn't find Nova parts, and they just started reproducing some parts now.
Well, and finding like some stuff that you can still get as repop, but and then other stuff too. Like for example, with my '81 Mustang, the rear defrost switch didn't work for whatever reason. I don't understand why. It had voltage to it. It should have worked, but it never did. So then trying to find one, I couldn't find one. I actually bought an entire donor card just for that one switch.
Yep, and then you sell the rest of the car. Hey, you know what? Sometimes that's the best thing is to buy a whole car, take the parts off if you need, either part the rest of the car out or sell what's left of the car that you don't need anymore. That's how I got my donor Nova, is I bought the whole car, and then parted out everything that I didn't need. Here's a right front fender.
Yeah, the front fenders on that thing are great. It's the rear ones that are screwed.
79 to 81 Regis Yorker. We are now welcome to NOVAtazz parts hunting.
That's what he's doing.
Oh, parts hunting isn't the half of this. This man will be trying to find a needle in the haystack.
Yeah,
are we all sitting here looking for freaking New Yorker fenders now? 73 New Yorker rear quarter panel. Is that the same body?
Which years?
73.
No.
This is for a 73 rear quarter for a 4-door.
That might be close enough that you'd have to modify it a little bit, but it might work actually. I know that the front end's changed.
It was $400.
Oof.
Yeah, Mopar tax.
It's not just Mopar tax. It's also just not reproduced, hard to find.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Original things.
I get it, but even some of the stuff that is reproduced are still popular cars, like a Satellite or a Roadrunner. Those front fenders.
I can get you side skirts galore.
What a coincidence! That's not what we need.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no.
Engine cradle. I can find all kinds of parts, just not quarters.
Everything under the sun but what you need.
There's a 69 Newport quarter panel.
Newport?
From a 4-door.
Yeah, and seeing that's 69 is totally different body style.
Oh yeah, I know.
Wait a second.
Like yeah, and it's interesting. Well, yeah, Willys and Jeeps in World War II, they did have interchangeable parts because they were the same vehicle.
Right. His best bet is to hunt Facebook for groups of people that like those cars.
Oh yeah.
That's like me. I run that Nova, the 4th generation Nova page on Facebook. We do the Novas, the Skylarks, the Omegas, the Venturas, the Phoenixes.
Yeah.
All of those cars that run that body style are welcome there because of the fact that parts and stuff are so hard to come by. We all group together because some of us have extra parts laying around that we don't have posted.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of guys like that, and especially oddly enough, Mopar people are the worst for that too.
Yeah.
I've
told you
noticed.
I have a whole donor car sitting next to my actual car. Just for that, just because I need parts.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's like and actually, because when I bought that '83 parts car that I mentioned, because yeah, I just took the switch and then I did rip out the carpet and I did take the seats for my car, but I didn't really need those, right? And I sold the rest of it, like parted it out and sold the rest, and I made like $270 profit off of it, so it wasn't bad.
Side skirts from a Crown Vic will work. Will the quarters work from a Crown Vic? Well, no, a Crown Vic is a Ford.
Yeah. I mean, and the Crown Vics he's talking about is the early '90s ones because he had a '93 at one point.
They'll fit on that car. Wouldn't the wheel well shape be different?
They might be close. I mean, but you can also splice stuff together. So. Like, because I don't know.
I guess it is, but if I'm finding like a gazillion freaking side skirts for those cards. So side skirts doesn't look like it'd be a part that's hard to find for those. It's the quarter panel itself that is seemingly impossible to find.
Yeah, and it's pretty typical, honestly, especially with the full size anything.
Well, that's because nobody likes them. I like the full size cars.
Well,
I told you guys the other week that I had access to a Buick Electra, and I wanted it so badly. It was a 4-door, freaking super long boat, but I wanted it, and it had a locked up Buick 455 in it. But yeah, I was young and didn't have money, and probably wasn't the smartest decision at the time to have gone after it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the thing is, the cars I could have had if I just delved a little deeper into, God, it could have been so much different than me owning these Mustangs. Because
Team Mechanic, that was back when I was 16. I am 37 now, 38 this year. So you do the math. That car is probably long gone, considering it was sitting in the weeds back in like 2001.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, That's unfortunate.
I'm not quite sure what year that was. I want to say it was like a 74, maybe older. Where am I typing? I have no idea where I'm typing.
Yeah, well, and oddly enough, actually, due to a video I put out, because the guy messaged me and said, "Hey, can you take that down? We've actually had people break into our yard and steal a bunch of stuff off of us." And I said, "Okay, apologies." And I took the video down that I had up for that. But then he actually said that he owns a couple of those cars there, and one of them is a late '70s Nova. I don't know what year it is.
Okay, it definitely was not a 74. It had to have been a lot older than that. Because I want to say 70 maybe?
Yeah, I'll say you are definitely the youngest in here right now. That I do know.
Oh, why is it not? That's not coming up in an Electra. Oh, that's because I forgot to put Electra.
Huh, that'll do it.
I just put in Buick 455. Alright, where does the taillights of this car look like? Make sure. Nope, it's not that one. Go back to the 74, see if that was it. taillights on that car? Where are they at? Yeah, so I would say it was not 74. No, because that has the one-piece taillight. I think. I don't know. It was definitely early 70s, maybe late 60s Buick Electra 4-door.
I mean, they're a cool car, and I know that right now, because people have been realizing that modern luxury cars don't ride that great typically. Like they have this more sporty aspect to them, and they don't really have luxury. And it's just like, why buy a new Cadillac or Lincoln? So
Yeah, doesn't make sense to me.
Well, there's
Yeah,
not-
like-
there's not that
£5,000
much
car, let's make it
difference-
sporty.
There's not much difference between a regular daily driver modern car and a luxury car any of these days. It does not the gap between the options has lessened significantly.
Oh yeah.
Oh. like
Okay, so yeah,
I
I'm
would-
definitely gonna say it has to be closer to like a 68, like that generation.
Oh, yeah.
So late 60s 4-door Buick Electra 455 was what I was looking at. It was all black.
yeah, badass car.
Oh, it was sick
Like,
looking.
Well,
Nice engine.
It was locked up tighter than a freaking it was locked up pretty tight.
actually, a friend of mine, and actually, where I do, like some of my videos that I've done on some of the older vehicles, like most of my videos have been done out there, excluding the ones that have been done here or any of my celebration videos. But he actually has one of the coolest vehicles on his property. It is a 1978 or 79 Lincoln Mark V that's been turned into a pickup truck.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and he let me drive it, and oh my god, I fell in love. I just absolutely fell in love.
4-wheel drive.
It's a Lincoln Mark V. It's not 4-wheel drive.
So just 2-wheel drive pickup truck.
Yeah, like they chopped the back off of a 2-door Lincoln Mark V, and I made it into a pickup. It is so damn cool. And the
So
thing
they made
is-
it into a Ute.
Yes.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So it's a Ute.
There's a few pictures on my Instagram with
Yeah,
that.
they make a lot. Like I've seen Ute Trans Ams. Now basically those they just take an El Camino and stick a Trans Am front end on it.
Yeah.
But I've seen different things of that stuff. But yeah, I actually like the little car truck things like the Ranchero and the El Camino. There's not a market for it in today's society. The closest you got is like Big E's Avalanche, stuff like that. They had the what was it, the Subaru Brat and the was it the Outback? No, what was the little 4-door the little 4-door Subaru with a bed in it?
Yeah, I think that was the Outback.
Huh? I think Chris said it.
Well, we
Yeah, it
both
was
said it.
Subaru Brat.
No, the Brat was the older one. There was a more modern one that they came out with.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what that was called.
Yeah,
I
it
love the.
wasn't an Outback.
Yeah.
Baja?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's-
yeah. I think that is what it is. Yeah, it is the Baja.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
those
the
were
Baja.
cool. I like those. A friend of ours had one. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
those
mean,
are
I like those. I mean, they're great if you know, they're kind of like the mini truck. You know,
It looks like someone took a Subaru Impreza and were just like, let's just cut the trunk off of it.
well, that's what most of them are.
Actually,
I've seen them do
they-
that with Jeep Cherokees too, and they actually come out pretty cool looking with the Jeep Cherokees with the back cut off.
Mm-hmm.
They did that actually from the factory though with those too.
What, the Cherokees?
Uh,
Not
yeah,
down here in the United States, they didn't.
No, they
Oh,
kind
no.
of did the Comanche. I think it was is basically
The
one of,
Comanche,
it's
yeah.
one of the older Cherokees where they did the same thing.
Actually, that was it was not, it was what it wasn't. It was a Jeep truck, but it was not, it shares almost no parts with the with Cherokees.
Oh, I see. They just kind of made it look like that.
Yeah, they just look the same because, again, you know, it's like what a lot of car manufacturers do, where they try to make all the cars look like they belong to the same family.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and Will's buddy Billy, the one that if you watch my first Trans Am videos, he's the one commenting in the background. He had a Comanche. So yeah, at that point, I also had a Jeep Cherokee. I had an '89 Jeep Cherokee Limited, 4-wheel drive. And yeah, there's almost none of the body parts were shareable, except for maybe a grill.
Ew.
But yeah, they were pretty cool. But yeah, they definitely were not the same thing as the Comanche as the Cherokees. Though, did you know that the Comanches, the frame, the body was welded to the frame, unlike even the Cherokees weren't like that.
No shit.
Cherokees were bolted. You know, it's just like you would think truck it had body mounts. No body mounts.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't know that.
The bed was bolted to the chassis, but the frame was part of the cab. Oh,
Interesting. So it's essentially not really a unibody, but kind of.
well, yeah. It's just they didn't have separate whatever. The Chiefs were cool, yeah. That's an easy fix. You just cut it off. Then it doesn't leak anymore. He says he had a Chief with the muffler leak. Well, like I said, simple fix. Just cut the muffler off. It doesn't leak anymore.
Yeah, it can't leak if it's not there.
Wait, well, actually, I have a my '81 Mustang has an exhaust leak, and it's because of my fault. I was having bad issues with the car running for a while, and I decided, you know what, let's cut out the catalytic converter, see what happens. And it still had an issue. I figured it was a clogged cat maybe, but it wasn't. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna weld it back up, but I used too much heat and I burnt through the metal, and I couldn't really get it to stick properly. Just like, crap. So it has an exhaust leak. I don't care.
I had a problem with my cars and catalytic converters. The problem was that they had them, so I solved that problem.
I am getting rid of them.
I got rid of them.
Don't worry. Yeah, I am getting rid of them.
And then I went to go get the Nova inspected, and they're like, well, you need to have a catalytic converter. And I was like, but this is, you know, number one, I had an inline 6, and the inline 6 had a crossover that was supposed to go to a catalytic converter. Though, you know, it used to have the big stop sign catalytic converters that were like freaking like 1.5 feet long by like 1.5 feet wide.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then it would have a single pipe all the way back to a muffler that would split into a dual pipe after that. But when I dropped the 305 in it, originally the first V8 that I threw in it, it was dual exhaust all the way back. So I was like, I had to come up with something. So I went down to the local exhaust shop. We picked up 2 high flow cats for like $60 each, had them weld them in. And then promptly after it got inspected, I went back up in and I punched a big hole in both of those $60 catalytic converters. I just took my jack handle and just kind of beat it all the way up and through the cat and broke it all out. And you know, it's passed inspection ever since then because they don't actually put a sniff test on it. They just look to see if they're there. Well, they're there. They're just empty.
There you go.
But and then the TA, I'm lucky I live where I do now, because where I do now they don't require any of that stuff. It doesn't have to pass emissions, so it doesn't even have to be there. Because it's got 2.5-inch stainless steel exhausts and it doesn't have cats in it. And I'm not cutting up a $900 to $1,000 stainless steel exhaust to put some freaking catalytic converters in it.
Damn straight.
No, like here, yeah, we don't have emissions testing either. So like the nice part is though, to get rid of all the emissions on my Mustang is a lot easier than most, because they don't even have an EGR pump, like, or a smog pump. All they have is an EGR valve. That's it, and a catalytic converter.
That's all my Nova or T8 have. Now, they tried to say that my Nova was supposed to have an air pump. And I'm like, I went back in and proved that I had the stock inline 6. There was no air pump on that. There's no air pump that came on a 77 Nova unless you were in California. California straight 6 cars did have an air pump. But up here where the car was sold, it never came with an air pump. So when I put the V8 in it, now the V8s had an air pump. The V8s for the 77 Nova, they had an air pump. But my car didn't factory come with a V8. So I have to pass emissions for what my car came with.
That's dumb.
Which was the inline 6. So, you know, obviously the inline 6 didn't have an air pump. I didn't have to have an air pump on the car.
Yep. What they don't tell you about the California edition is the air pump wasn't for the engine, it was for the air heads behind the wheels.
But yeah, so like when I drop that in there, you know, there's things you have to think about when you live in certain areas, like, you know, what it is. Like, I think, like, if you want to do a engine swap in California now, it is the smog requirements for the engine that you drop in. So, like, you can't drop an LS in and have it run with the same emission stuff that the old school engine had. It has to comply to the emission standards of the year of the engine that you drop in. So if you drop in a brand new LS, it's got to have all of the LS, the modern LS smog stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're running a 1971, you know, El Camino.
Wait, that's sad actually, and like and with California, because you know there is smog there. And the thing is, I remember actually watching an episode of Wheeler Dealers. It was just, I think, last week. They were doing a 93, I think, 300 ZX turbo car. That it was a Utah car, so it didn't have smog on it. But trying to get it through California, they had to put in the catalytic converters and stuff, and robbed that motor of like 60 horsepower.
But the thing is if you get a good catalytic converter, it really doesn't do too much as far as robbing the engine. Because it doesn't really, it does reduce a little bit of flow, but you can get high flow catalytic converters. Like I said, it's what I did have on my car, but my car ran so rich that it was just causing the catalytics to heat up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because the richer you run the engine, so that is basically where I would say you would be losing horsepower. If you're going to run the car rich, the catalytic converters are not going to be happy. The richer your car runs, the hotter those catalytics are going to get. So you can't run a tune on it that is on the rich side, which is where you tend to get a little bit more power sometimes. You want to be as lean as you can, but you can't run too lean because then you risk burning valves,
blowing up your engine.
Yeah, and that's actually trying to find a happy medium with a carb that needs a rebuild and the chip function.
You can't tune a car that is in need of maintenance.
Oh, absolutely not. Like I tried to a little bit, and it does. Don't get me wrong, it does make a difference. The only problem is right now, because the choke wire, it melted completely. It's an electronic
Oh.
choke, and it melted at the connections for some reason. I don't know
All
why.
you need to do is supply it with a hot on key on.
I know. I don't want to mess with it because I'm swapping the entire setup anyways. That's why. So right now I have the choke zip tied open, and that works for me. Because
Yeah, it's just not going to run very well when it's cold. That's all. But as soon as the engine warms up, it'll be fine.
yeah, it doesn't have that much issues actually when it's cold. Like it has issues trying to start right now. And I think it's more of a fuel delivery issue or just that carb in general. But once you actually get it started, it's fine. It just takes 4 or 5 drives.
Yeah, like I can't even start the TA at all with the carb that's supposed to be on it. That carb does not do anything. It won't even run at all with stock carb.
That's
Well,
bad.
even though it's still not stock, because stock carb would be in a 79 carb, and that's a 76 carb because the engine's a 76.
Semantics.
There's not much left of my TA that is still stock. The interior is not stock. The interior is out of a 78. The seats are out of a 74. Ooh, excuse me. The engine's out of a 76. The transmission is out of an Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Starting to sound like a Johnny Cash song.
I know, right? What is that one where the guy worked for Cadillac and brought home a different piece every year?
Something like that.
Build himself a Cadillac?
No, I think it was Once a Day, actually, in the song.
That was a good song, though. I like that song.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
You know, I just.
Like, I'm just trying to picture, like, how someone could sneak an engine block out of someplace like that.
I think it's more of
Big
just,
lunchbox.
Yeah, big lunchbox.
I guess.
Lunchbox on a rolling cart.
I mean, there actually are stories of big stuff like that getting stolen out of factories just with clever planning of stuff. But yeah, it wasn't very often at all.
Well, I mean, there's also supposedly, nuclear bombs that have gone missing. Like, of all the things to go missing, that.
Yeah. You can't keep a hold of. Well, they left it on somebody's front porch, and somebody came by and swiped it off the porch. It got delivered to the warehouse, and they swiped it off the front porch of the warehouse.
Yeah, totally.
They ding-dong ditched.
Oh, really? The fuel pump died in the Monaco? Jeez. The thing is, I know that's the original fuel pump. I know that. But that's annoying. Because, yeah, he just mentioned that. And just like, yeah. Oddly enough, fuel pump worked just fine when he bought that. That was like 3.
Impossible.
I actually have to block off the.
Then take the first right.
Hey,
Turn
Chris.
right on
Your
I-80
bitch is
West.
talking.
Hush, Edith. Yeah, I gotta put a sock in her mouth.
Your backseat driver is yapping at you again.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I gotta actually block. I gotta remove the fuel pump on the TA when I put this kit in because it's got an electric fuel pump in the tank instead of the mechanical one on the side of the block.
So fancy.
Yeah, and even the truck. I'm waiting for parts for the truck. I ordered the vacuum lines for the truck, and they're still on back order.
Oh my god.
So I got parts galore. I have a fuel pump and transmission lines in front of me. I have a throttle body sitting down here at my feet. I got every project that I'm waiting on. I'm waiting for parts. Well, and a garage. Garage is for the Nova, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm waiting on a few things for my 81 because the heater core decided, hey, I'm gonna leak, so that's fun. At least I don't have to take the dash apart to and I did order a blower motor as well, but Rock Auto sent me a terrible quality part that, oh my god, the thing was
I don't get their low tier parts.
Well, the weird part is this was actually one that was
In the premium section?
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
Yeah, it was, oddly enough, it was the only one that they sold that wasn't for an AC car. So, and yeah, it didn't come with the fan on it, just the blower motor itself. The thing
Oh,
is
wow.
with it that you could tell somebody had spray painted this thing because there was paint physically on the wires, and
Great.
there was actually there was a nick in one of the wires, and so there was an exposed wire. It's like, what the hell? And then the mount was actually bent. It's like, I didn't return that. It's like, screw that. I'm not mess with that. So yeah, there was that. What else am
I was telling Big E the other day to do the heater core or the blower motor in the Nova, you have to take the front passenger side fender off the car.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You not only have to take all of the stuff underneath the dash out, but you also have to take that inner fender and the front and the fender on the passenger side out to get to that stuff. Which means that also means then taking the hood off, because you can't take the fender off without taking the hood off.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. People are complaining about how like they were complaining about how hard it is to do the heater core at a Dodge, and I'm like, geez, it's like 6 bolts, a couple wires, and just pulling the dash up away from the freaking firewall, and you can get to everything in the Ram. You know, the hardest part is getting, if you have an original heater core in the truck, is getting out the original heater core, because you have to cut it. You know, but once you get the new ones are swivel. You just tuck them all in there and pop them in, and boom, bada bing, bada boom, you're done. And you know, it is what it is. You just put the dash back in, you put your 6 bolts back in, you hook your wires back up, and boom, you're done. I had that with filming. I had that heater core out and back in, and the whole truck back together and running in 3 hours.
Nice.
And they charge like freaking $1,600 to $2,000 to do that job.
Of course.
The heater core in my dad's 99 had to be replaced, and they charged him, it was $900 for that.
Yeah. Well, it cost me $35 for the heater core and coolant.
Yeah. Well, again, to do the lifter,
and 3 hours of my time.
Wait, like, I know that, no joke, in the Fox Body Mustangs, it's even easier because, okay, all you gotta do, you take the glove box out, and it's right there. You just take out the bolts, and it just comes right out.
Yeah.
Wow, must be nice.
The Dodge trucks, it's up in the top of the dash, and in the Nova, it's there, but you can't take that cover off without taking the stuff off in the engine bay. Because you got to take the heater, you got to take the parts of the heater core box in the engine bay off to be able to get the half of the heater core box on the inside of the firewall off.
That's just stupid. Like,
and
honestly,
the blower motor is bolted to the top. If you're looking at the front of the car, it's the top left corner up underneath of the fender. There's like 8 bolts that hold the blower motor up there, and you can't get it out because it's right up against the inside of the fender. So you have to take the fender off to get to it.
Like, I know the companies think about styling over, like,
it's ease of they don't give a shit about. It's not a matter of somebody having to work on it down the road. It's how well the car goes together on the assembly line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's their main, because after the car's sold, it's not their problem.
Yeah, well, and even I know, like, cars nowadays are specifically designed to brake at certain mileages, which is really stupid.
Some parts, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to sell more vehicles if people are riding around in the vehicles they have currently forever.
Right. Well, like, the thing is, my dad owns right now a 2005 Dodge Magnum, and once you replace the timing belt on the 3.5s at 160,000 kilometers, then comes everything else starts to want to go, because the blower motor will go out at that point. The ball joints will go out. The tie rods will go out.
Well,
everything.
I mean, that stuff isn't necessarily designed. That's just when they just happen to go.
Oh, I know, but the fact that they all go at the exact same time, and
it's
it
coinky dink.
mechanically.
It's coinky dink.
Yeah, it's just annoying though. But like, and there's other stuff that actually are designed to break though. Don't get me wrong. But and it's just I don't like the new vehicles at all.
I mean, the like my Trans Am isn't any better. Chris can tell you if he was in his truck that I mean they use a nylon gear for the stock timing set. So I mean, like, it wasn't like they were any better in the 80s.
My God.
Well, actually, well,
why did I have to replace the oil pump shaft in my 350 when I threw it in? Why? Because again, that was nylon as well. I upgraded it to a solid steel shaft.
Well, it's like well, and even some of the cheaping out of stuff too. For example, like with the late '90s Silverados with the 5-speed manual in them, they had the NV 3500, the exact same transmission as what was in the Dodges, right? But the difference was that the synchros were all plastic, and that's why
oh my God.
Silverados, yeah, and that's why Silverados will lose all of their gears. The Dodges will only lose the gears in reverse because the reverse synchro is plastic.
Yeah, there's actually I think only the Speedo and the Turbo 350s is plastic. The Speedo gear.
Oh yeah.
Nylon sucks.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but back in the
only
day, that
belongs
was
in one place.
the technology
Did
of the time.
you hear what I said, Chris? I don't know where you were at. I was talking about. We were talking about how like even the classic cars didn't weren't they were designed to fail at certain points as well, because I was talking about like how about the timing gears in the Firebirds?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
I was telling them how they were made out of nylon.
Metal teeth capped with a nylon shroud.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I know why they did
ridiculous.
That was designed to make them quiet.
Yeah.
The nylon was used to reduce the noise of the valve train.
Well, there's better ways to go about doing that.
Cars weren't never they were never designing these cars to last 200-some thousand miles.
It shows.
Like
nope. 70s and 80s era. If you had a car that was 100,000 miles, it was past its time.
Well,
it sounds been nice. Borrowed time.
And that's the funny part. Like, and that's why when I bought my '81 Mustang, it had only rolled over once. So it's only got 110,000 kilometers on it, which is really low, especially. But considering it's an inline 6 car, it's not as surprising.
You know how many miles are on this car behind me?
I don't know.
63.
You're gonna cry.
How many?
63,000.
It's not bad at all. That's
original.
That's original. It has not rolled over. I have documentation going back that car only has 63,000 original miles on it.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, actually.
My Nova, when I first bought it, had 83,000. No, my Nova had 64,000 miles on it when I bought it. It now has 120,000 miles on it.
Well, let's see. I'm going to be the conversion here on my computer.
My truck, though, has 264,000 miles on it.
God damn.
And that's the interesting part with the States, actually, with how many higher mileage vehicles you guys have compared to here, what we consider high mileage is insane.
Bigger country. Well, I wouldn't say bigger country. Americans do a lot more driving.
Yeah, so put it this way. Your Nova with 120,000 miles, is it?
For a 30-some-year-old car, yeah.
Well, that is actually my convertible. My '86 has about 500 more miles on it than what your Nova does.
Well, you also got to think. Okay, so my car had 84,000 miles on it when I bought it. It was owned by an older lady that used it mainly for going to church. I bought it in 2007. So from 2007 to 2014, I doubled its mileage.
See, my 81, I just did the conversion. It's only got 68,000 miles on it.
There you go. But your 81 is, well, it's not that much newer.
I wish my vehicle only had that many miles on it.
Now the Trans Am when I bought it had, I think, like 46,000 miles on it. And what makes it sad is I guarantee you that car was somebody's garage queen. And it got in an accident because the whole front end has been swapped. So it got in an accident, and that is what changed that car's life. That car was somebody's garage princess.
And then, somebody runs a red light.
And smacks into it. And then somebody tried to turn it into a drag car. And then the person that I bought it from bought it. And it sat underneath of a tree for 6 years. And then I bought it, got it back on the road, drove the shit out of it until the 403 blew up. And then I did the engine swap, and we haven't had it back on the road since the engine swap.
Well, and actually, the Monaco that I sold, because I just did the conversion to miles, it only had 47,000 miles on it.
Do you think that was original, or do you think it rolled over?
That was original. I talked to the family of the original owner. It was a one.
1955 with only 8,700 miles.
I don't
know if I would believe that be the original miles, because I do believe back then the odometer rolled over at 10,000 miles.
Yeah, you are correct on that.
So most likely it's got way more than 8,700. I mean, unless you have documentation to prove otherwise, I doubt it only has 87.
Yeah, like that Monaco, because I didn't have official documentation of the mileage, but I did have basically corroborated story from 3 of the family members after she passed away. So, and that's, yeah, when 3 of them, if they're all lying to you, just like, wow, you're an asshole. But I don't think they were. So.
Yes, pilot, she's from Canada. But all right, I think we're winding down, and I think we're gonna end it for tonight. And we'll catch you guys next week, and hopefully I see a lot of the same faces next week. Team Mechanic, you're more than welcome to come back every week. Oh yeah, sorry, I had a late night last night.
Oh yeah, who went?
Me and B. I was up till 7:30 this morning.
What were you doing?
Well, me and Biggie were up playing SnowRunner until like 6. And then I went through the load of laundry that I realized that my girlfriend had put out to go in the wash, and I didn't put it out. I wanted to get that in the dryer before I fell asleep. So I threw it in the wash, and then I waited till the washer stopped and threw it in the dryer before I went to bed. She got up at like... Actually, I think it was 6:30. 6:30 when I went... Oh, wait. Because we stopped at 5.
A little after, I think.
A little after. So, yeah, it was 6:30 that I went to bed, not 7:30.
Well, yeah, I can't do that anymore. So my body just shuts down if it doesn't get enough sleep. Like, it'll physically, like, convulse and stuff.
As long as I can... I didn't wake up until 11 this morning.
You got enough sleep.
Exactly. I got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. That's about normal.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore.
I've been running on that much sleep for probably the last 20 years.
Yeah, well, some people function better on less sleep. Others, need more.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's different.
If Jess ran on 5 hours of sleep, she'd be freaking horrible.
Yeah, well, I'd be a mess. But, Anyway.
Teen, you're not that bad. We end up getting down on another subject. When I said I'm going to get off, it ends up being another hour sometimes.
Yeah. That has been known to happen.
But anyway, we're going to sign off of live. Katrina, you don't need to run off anywhere right away if you don't want to. But we're going to hang off of up here on live, and we'll catch you guys next week. And thank you guys all for the great live stream. And I'm repeating myself again because I was just about to say we'll catch you guys next week. But anyway, see you later. I'll let everybody else say goodbye, and then we'll sign off.
Take it easy, people.
You're around.
I don't know if Chris is even there.
Probably not.
Well, his camera's dead, so my guess is no.